On day 1, I spawned in as APHMAU, ready to begin my latest Minecraft adventure. And wow, look, I've got 5 hearts. It must be because APHMAU is so good at making friends. But wait, there was nobody else around me in the forest. That didn't seem right. APHMAU always has her friends, especially her best friend, Ian. I started looking around to see if I could find him. Ian? Can you hear me? Ian! I don't like hanging out in this creepy forest alone. But I wasn't alone. Suddenly, a huge humbaba came running out of the trees towards me.
Are you calling for Ian? Oh, that annoying little brat has given me enough trouble already. If you're a friend of his, I'm gonna need to kidnap you too.
So that's what happened to Ian. He always knew how to make a bad first impression. I turned and ran away from the forest. There was no way I could fight that big humbaba unarmed.
Get back here, you little twerp. There will be no escape once I reach my full power.
That didn't sound good. I kept running until I couldn't see the humbaba anymore and stopped to catch my breath after the chase. So he kidnapped Ian. I need to get him back. I really don't like that thing the humbaba said about reaching his full power. But I didn't have time to think about it. Suddenly, Endermen were coming out of the trees all around me, grasping for me with their long, spooky arms. Uh-oh, gotta go. I ran off again until there were no Endermen to be seen. I hid underneath a big tree to get some sleep in secret. It's harder to make friends in this world than I thought. On day 2, I woke up with a sore back. Sleeping on the ground under a tree isn't that comfortable. I needed to make myself a base. But first, I needed to get myself some materials. I started breaking down a tree with my bare hands to get the material for a crafting table. Ow! My hands are gonna be sore after that one. I built a crafting table and used that to craft my first set of tools. A wooden pickaxe, a wooden axe, and of course, a wooden sword. Now it's base building time. But there wasn't much space in the forest, so I headed out into the plains to start building my base on a wide, even plain. I admired the plains from my new balcony. Nothing can sneak up on me here. That's when I saw a bunch of freaky little creatures crawling towards my base. Are those enderophages? That doesn't make sense. What are they doing outside of the end? Either way, I needed to get them out of here to finish building my base. I went outside, pulled out my sword, and started attacking them, being careful not to let them attack me. If an enderophage attacks you, you get ender flu, and nobody wants that. Get out of here, you nasty little viruses! I kept attacking them until there were no more left. And stay out. I went back in to continue working on my base. The first room I finished was my sleeping quarters, complete with a nice, comfy bed. This sure beats sleeping under a tree. On day 3, I woke up feeling well rested and decided to continue expanding my base. I left the plains and walked back into the forest to gather more material with my new tools. After all, I needed to build a room for Ian after I rescue him from the humbaba. On the way through the forest, I discovered an opening into a cave and decided to explore. Who knows what treasures I might find in there? But as I got deeper and deeper into that cold, dark cave, I realized treasure wasn't the only thing inside. Suddenly, an armed Mimikyu snuck up behind me. Before I could even react, it hit me with its mimic sword, taking out a good chunk of my health. Get away from me, you lousy slime! I'm just trying to gather some supplies. But it didn't listen. It just kept attacking me. My sword was like a toy against it. Whatever adventurer it copied a shield from was too strong. For a minute there, I thought I was a goner. Until a friendly chocobo came running out of the cave towards me.
Hop on my back, kid. It isn't safe in here.
Thanks, that's an offer I can't refuse. I jumped onto the chocobo's back and rode her out of the cave, leaving the Mimikyu behind us in the dark. We ran until we reached my base, where I finally dismounted off of the chocobo. Thanks for the save, chocobo. I'm Zozo. What's your name?
I'm Coco. Huh, guess our names are kind of similar.
You did a great job saving us from that Mimikyu. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have survived without you.
The Mimikyu are just the beginning of it. Haven't you noticed all of the ender creatures that have been bothering everyone around here? It's all Estragon the humbaba's fault.
Wait, the humbaba? I think we should stick together. That's the guy who kidnapped my friend. On days 4 to 5, I invited Coco the chocobo into my base. Be it ever so humble, there's no place like home.
Nice place. Where will I sleep?
That's when I realized he wouldn't really fit through the door. Well, where do you want to sleep?
Personally, I've always felt a little safer underground. Is that doable?
You betcha, Coco. I mined a space underground in my little base and built Coco a cozy underground room to sleep in. By the time we were done, it was nighttime and we were exhausted. If Feels so nice to have a friend staying at my base with me too. But we didn't get to cool off for long. We heard the sound of zombies moaning outside.
Jeez, we can't catch a break, can we?
You hang back this time, Coco. You've already saved my bum once today. Now it's my turn to help you out. I climbed up the stairs and pulled out my sword. It may be wooden, but I could still outwit a bunch of zombies, even at my lower power level. I ran in, taking advantage of my speed to lure the zombie horde away from my base. That'd keep Coco safe. Now it's time to tango, you undead fiends. Once I was far enough away, I started picking them off one by one, defeating each one quickly before the rest could gang up on me. You know that age-old rule, never get surrounded by zombies. This'll teach you to invade my base. It's just rude, you know? I noticed that one of them dropped an enchanted book on the ground. I ran in and picked it up right away. Oh wow, protection level 4. This will improve the strength of my armor. That's perfect. On days 6 to 8, I decided to build a chicken farm on my base so I could collect the eggs and make myself some nice meals. Once the new section of the base was built, I went out into the jungle to find some wild chickens roaming free. Here, little chickens, I'll put up some fences and make you some nests. While I was there, I collected a few apples from the trees too. Munch, munch, munch. Back to full hearts. Nice. And just in time too, because I saw a Stragon the Humbubba coming towards me through the trees. He was carrying a bow with flaming arrows.
We meet again, Zozo. You're a long way from your base.
Estragon, I know your name now. What did you do with my friend Ian?
Ian. I'm sick of hearing that name. Almost as sick as I am of keeping him as a hostage. But it'll all be worth it when it's time for the sacrifice.
What? Sacrifice? What are you gonna do to my friend?
I've told you too much already, Zozo. Now it's time for you to run. If you want to survive, that is.
He started shooting fireballs at me, and all I could do was run away. There was no way I could face him with just a wooden sword.
Run, Zozo, run! It doesn't matter. I'll catch you in the end, no matter what.
He kept firing more fireballs as I kept running. There were so many I could barely dodge them all. I just kept ducking and weaving between the trees. They were my only protection. Why can't you just leave me alone?
I can't have you getting in the way of my plans, Zozo. I won't risk it.
Luckily, I was still faster than he was. I was able to keep running until I passed through a gap too small for him. By the time he could make it around, I had hidden behind a tree.
You can't hide forever, Zozo.
Then he angrily spat fire all over. I didn't feel safe until I saw him fade into the distance, looking for me. I'm gonna need to get so much stronger before I can beat that guy. I hope you're safe out there, Ian. On days 9 to 10, I was hanging out with Coco, thinking about how to pass the time while I searched for Ian and figured out Humbaba's evil plan. Coco had a pretty bright idea about that.
How about you build a statue, Zozo? That's a great way to pass the time, and it'll help inspire you to complete your mission.
Great idea, Coco. I'm so glad I have you around to help me out. But what would the statue be? It has to be something Ian would love. I was sitting on the balcony, thinking of what exactly to build. Oh wait, I know! I'd build a statue of Ian. He'd love to have a big statue of himself to look at. I ventured out to the plains where I started mining some more materials. This would help me build my statue and improve my base. I went back to the base and started building the statue's foundation. Heck yeah, that's a good start. I also decided it was time to furnish my home a bit more. I needed somewhere to chill out and maybe read. Oh, I know, I'll build myself a library. That will be the perfect place to study and relax.
Yes.
I built myself a nice, cozy library with bookshelves, chairs, and a fireplace. Now this is the way to live. On days 11 to 12, I was exploring a cave, searching for more materials, when suddenly an ancient spirit villager appeared right in front of me. Oh no, a ghost!
Be not afraid, Zozo.
How do you know my name?
I know many things. As an ancient spirit, it is my duty to guide heroes and warriors who are pure of heart to their destiny. I can sense that you have a mission, Zozo. I can give you the answers, but you must ask the right questions.
Well, a humbaba named Estragon kidnapped my best friend Ian, and I think he's up to something bad. Can you tell me everything you know about him?
Yes, Estragon the Humbaba. There is a great darkness in that creature's heart. He started out like any other Humbaba, living in the desert plains with his family. But like many evil men, Estragon wasn't satisfied with what he had, with the love of his friends and family. He always lusted for power, to gain control over others. His quest to become a more powerful being led him to the end, a realm even darker and further from the overworld than the Nether. He knew that the forces of the end would give him power he only dreamed of, but it exacted a terrible price in return. A sacrifice. If he wanted the power of the end, he would need to forsake the overworld and help the Endermen and Enderophages take it over and make it their own. He gains power to perform this ritual through sacrifice. I would wager that this is his intention with your friend, Ian.
What? That's even worse than I thought. I need to get stronger and defeat this guy before he can hurt anyone else. From days 13 to 15, I returned to the cave where I first met Coco the Chocobo. I wanted to get strong enough to defeat Estragon the Humbaba. I needed to at least be strong enough to defeat that Mimikyu. As I got deeper into the cave, I saw it was waiting for me on top of a stalagmite. Clearly he had gotten some flair for the dramatic. As it hopped down towards me, I dodged and went for his back, trying to hit him where he couldn't block with his shield. He took a lot of hits from my wooden sword, but eventually I did manage to defeat it with a good swing to the back. The fight made a difference because I could feel myself leveling up. I went from 5 to 8 hearts, got twice as strong, and gained a new ability, Disguise. APHMAU is great at fitting in, so I could now convince some lower level mob groups that I'm one of them, just as long as I don't act too out of character. This will probably come in handy later. After that, I mined some stone and left the cave. All this will help me rescue Ian and stop Estragon someday. On days 16 to 19, I built myself a crafting room so I could make better gear. I used my crafting table and the stone I'd collected to make myself a new set of gear, a stone sword, a stone pickaxe, and a stone axe. We've just entered the Stone Age, baby. I realized I needed more materials for base building and crafting. That's why I started exploring an underground cavern near my base. The deeper I got into the cavern, the more I noticed how cold it had gotten, even cooler than you'd usually expect for an underground cavern. That's when I noticed an Iceman standing deeper into the cavern, waiting for any intruders to enter. He was walking towards me. I needed to think fast. Now is probably a good time to try out my new disguise ability. As the Iceman approached me, I switched into my Iceman disguise. Hey, who goes there? Hey, it's me, fellow Iceman. So nice to see another one of my cold bros down here.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is nice to see another Iceman down here.
It looks like my disguise worked.
Well, what can I do you for, fellow Iceman?
You mind if I mine some materials? I need to upgrade my equipment.
Sure thing, bud. Be my guest.
My new disguise ability was already coming in handy. With the Iceman's approval, I mined some extra stone and made my way back to my base. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to Coco the Chocobo outside the door to my bedroom, frantically calling for me.
Zozo! Zozo! It's an emergency! Huh?
What's wrong, Coco?
Estragon the Humbaba is right outside. I think he's here to see you.
Uh-oh, I better get dressed and go see him then. I grabbed my equipment and ran out of the base. I saw Estragon the Humbaba standing there, waiting for me.
We meet again, Zozo. Our last meeting was cut tragically short. If I recall correctly, you ran away like a coward. Will you run away now?
I'm through running away. I'm ready to take you on, Estragon. Are you brave enough to fight me directly?
Gladly.
Estragon readied his claws and ran at me. We dueled, managing to dodge or parry most of each other's blows.
Impressive. You've gotten a lot stronger since we last fought.
Thanks for providing the encouragement. As we kept fighting, I managed to hold my own, but I was getting tired. Lucky for me, it seemed like Estragon was getting tired too.
You've proven yourself, Zozo, but this isn't even my final form. The next time we fight, it'll be the end of you. Mark my words.
And with that, he ran off, leaving us on a draw. But the next time I would meet him, I finally believed it might be my turn to take home the victory. When I'm done with you, Estragon, the only end you'll need to worry about is your own. On days 23 to 26, I explored an underground cavern, hoping to find some interesting loot. Using torches I placed along the wall to light my way, I walked deeper and deeper into the belly of the cavern. Along the way, I saw a family of spiders skittering along the stone. I really didn't feel like fighting these guys, so I hid in the shadows and watched them pass. Ugh, spiders always give me the creeps. Once the spiders were gone, I kept creeping into the cavern. I could just feel I was getting closer to something worthwhile. Hey, what's that? That's when I discovered an old chest hidden among the rocks. I opened it and found a potion of healing inside. This will help me regain 2 hearts. I better keep this for when I really need it. And if you want more Zozo videos when you really need them, search ZOZO in your search bar and you'll be able to find all my Minecraft adventures. On days 27 to 31, Coco brought me some materials to get started on the statue, and I quickly got to work on it, knowing that it would help to motivate me to take on Estragon and rescue Ian. This is looking rad, but I can't help but feel like it's missing something. I realized pretty quickly that the statue needed some more colors to really bring it to the next level. I made my way over to a nearby desert where I found some abandoned sheep in a pen. Their wool is exactly what we need for the statue. As soon as I tried to get closer, however, a gang of husks appeared from behind the sands. It was too late to use my disguise skill. They'd already seen me, and now I was in trouble. I'm guessing you guys don't want to just talk this one out? Spoiler alert, they didn't! I pulled out my stone sword and started fighting off the gang of angry husks. There were plenty of them, but I was a lot stronger than I used to be. I bet you wished you'd just talked it out with me now, huh? Some husks with bows were hiding on top of a sand dune, firing arrows at me. But they weren't as good a shot as Estragon, so I was able to dodge their arrows and run at them. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. I swung my sword again and again and again, never letting up. By the time I was done, those ancient bad guys were done, and I was free to explore the pen. I found a big stash of wool in a nearby chest. Since I had what I needed, I set the sheep free. Enjoy your freedom. With that done, I made my way back to my base to continue work on the statue. On days 32 to 35, I decided I needed a change of scenery, so I left my base and ventured down to the swamp to see if there were any interesting materials to collect. It's got that fresh swamp smell, but I didn't find any interesting materials. Instead, I found a swarm of monstrous swamp leeches, and I really didn't want them to get too close to me. I think I might be allergic to leeches, especially giant monster leeches. As I tried to run away, I fell into the bog and found even more monstrous swamp leeches slithering through the water towards me. I needed to get out of here. I climbed out of the water and started running as fast as I could as the leeches started slithering up onto the ground behind me. Those monsters must be really hungry, but I don't want to be on the menu, you nasty leeches. I pulled out my sword and I was able to fight a few of them off. But every time I took out a few of them, more crawled out of the water. I was on their turf now. Okay, I'm leaving. Just please stop trying to eat me. After running for a while, I finally managed to escape all the hungry leeches. I stopped for a minute to catch my breath, and that's when the Iron Chicken ran out to meet me.
Please, kind stranger, I need your help.
Of course, tell me what's happening.
My chicken friend was kidnapped and dragged away into a tomb, but it's too heavily guarded for me to go and get her back myself. Will you help me do it?
I will. My friend got kidnapped too, so I know exactly how you feel. I'll get right on it. On days 36 to 39, I followed some instructions the Iron Chicken gave me until I found my way over to the ancient tomb. Of course they'd be hiding the kidnapped chicken in the creepiest place possible. Duh. Getting in wouldn't be easy. I could see a powerful looking stone monster guarding the gate, and I had no idea what other enemies or traps were waiting for me inside. I needed to think of a way to approach this tactically. Wait, I have an idea. The stone monster hadn't seen me yet, so I could use my disguise skill to infiltrate the building without needing to fight the stone monster. Once I was inside, I could try to find the chicken and sneak back out. It'd be a flawless plan, and nobody would need to get hurt. That's the APHMAU way. What could possibly go wrong? Days 40 to 43, I put my plan into action. I used my disguise ability to take on the form of a stone monster and approach the stone monster guarding the entrance to the ancient tomb. Hey there, fellow stone monster. How's it going?
Do I know you?
Well, we're both stone monsters, aren't we? What's up? You guarding the tomb? Can I go in?
Look, buddy, this is a security job. I don't let anyone into this tomb unless I know them. So, who are ya?
I feel like I definitely know you from somewhere.
Are you a friend of my brother, Michael?
Yes, that's it. Some would say I'm his best friend. Me and Mikey go way back. So, you mind if I enter the tomb?
You dope. I don't have a brother. I'm taking you down.
My disguise was foiled. The stone monster ran towards me, and I used my speed and agility to dodge around him and run into the ancient tomb. Don't worry, chicken. I'm coming for you. I ran into the tomb. It was a cold, dark passageway where I could barely see in front of my face. Put up a couple torches along the walls just so I could find my way around. That's when I found a potion of night vision laying around on the floor of the tomb. This is perfect, just what I needed. I took the potion just in time to see a vicious ruby mummy running towards me. It gave me the fright of my life. I dodged the lunging mummy and only then noticed a green chicken cowering behind the mummy. Hey chicken, come with me. We need to get out of this scary dump. I didn't have to tell the chicken twice. She ran after me as I ran out of the tomb, leaving the shambling ruby mummy behind us. We also passed the big, strong stone monster on the way out and left the tomb for good. The green chicken and I returned to the swamp where she was reunited with her good friend, the Iron Chicken.
Thank you, Zozo. I'll never forget this.
No problem, Iron Chicken. I just hope I don't need to go into any more creepy tombs anytime soon. On days 44 to 49, after reuniting with the chickens, I decided I needed a little reminder of the friend I was doing all of this to save. I haven't forgotten about you, Ian. That's why I continued working on the statue with some of the materials I'd been gathering. It was getting a little taller every day. I loved seeing my work get better and better like this. Okay, the statue is coming along nicely, but now I need to beef up my home defenses a little. I mined some stone out of the ground nearby and started building a wall around the base to keep it secure from any potential attackers. I'd like to see Estragon break in now. Oh wait, I should probably build a door. I built a double door into the front of the perimeter gate and mounted torches all around the sides to ward off mobs. After that, I got to work making Ian a room of his own. He needed a good place to stay after I got him back from Estragon. While I was at it, I decided to add a kitchen as well. Can't live off of apples forever. Now my base was really coming along. On days 50 to 53, my new security system was put to the test when Estragon the Humbaba attacked the base again. And this time, he brought friends. There was an army of enderophages, headed by one of Estragon's generals, the mutant Enderman, who was larger and stronger than your average Enderman. You just don't know when to quit, do you, Estragon?
Why would I quit, Zozo? I hold all the cards. You've been getting too big for your boots. This is gonna teach you a valuable lesson about your place in things. Minions, attack!
On Estragon's order, the army attacked. I thought my new perimeter wall would keep me, Coco, and our base safe, but that's when the mutant Enderman came in. He teleported past the wall and opened the door from the inside. That's when the enderophages came storming into the base. Uh-oh, this isn't good. I pulled out my stone sword and tried my best to fight off the enderophages. But as they attacked me, I caught the ender flu and felt myself getting temporarily weaker. I wasn't even strong enough to stop them from getting to Coco the Chocobo.
Zozo, help! They've got me!
Coco, no! But it was already too late. Estragon teleported away with Coco. All that was left at the base was me, the enderophages, and the mutant Enderman. That's it! All of you bad guys are going down! One by one, with my stone sword, I took down all the remaining enderophages, and the mutant Enderman teleported away in fear. The battle gave me enough XP that I gained 2 more hearts and double speed. I quickly ran back inside and opened my fridge and grabbed some milk. Thankfully, drinking it removed the enderflu from me. Now it's time to get serious. I'm not letting Estragon keep Coco and Ian. I'm getting them both back. On days 54 to 57, I decided I needed to improve my base defense system before I took the fight to Estragon and his goons. I reinforced my perimeter wall by making it thicker and adding more layers, and I added lanterns around the outside to ward off any enemy mobs. Good luck teleporting through that, mutant Enderman! The next defense I needed was knowledge. That's why I returned to the underground cavern where the wise ancient spirit villager was waiting for me. Ancient Spirit Villager, I need your help! Estragon keeps attacking me and taking my friends, but I don't know where to even start looking for him to get my friends back. Where should I look?
Well, I think I may have an answer for you, Zozo. Across the forest, in the Badlands, there is an ancient temple with which I believe is owned by Estragon the Humbaba. Perhaps, if you find this place, you can discover Estragon's end portal. If you find that, you may be able to rescue your friends and stop his terrible plans.
That sounds like a plan. But first, I'm gonna need to improve my weapons and equipment. If I want to take on Estragon, I need to become more powerful than ever. That's when I set off for a nearby mine. On days 58 to 62, I entered the mine and started mining iron ore with my stone pickaxe. This will be perfect for upgrading my gear. But while I was mining, I suddenly felt a presence behind me. I turned and saw the mutant Enderman lurking in the dark. You again? I've had enough of you. The mutant Enderman teleported toward me, but I wouldn't let him get the advantage here. I pulled out my stone sword and finally put an end to the crafty teleporting villain. He had one final trick up his sleeve though. Before I could back off, I got sucked into the ender energies that exploded out of him. By the end of it though, I was in a lot better shape than he was. You picked the wrong side, mutant Enderman. I gathered up the rest of the iron and returned to my base. There, I used my crafting table to create an iron sword, an iron pickaxe, an iron axe, and a full set of iron armor. Looks like I'm getting stronger and stronger every day. Yeah! On days 63 to 66, I continued working on the statue. It was coming along well, but it still had a long way to go. And it was a heck of a lot harder to build without any of my friends here to help me. But I had to keep going, because that's what heroes do. That, and go on adventures, of course. If you want to make sure you never miss an exciting Zozo adventure, hit subscribe and click the bell to get notifications. We promise we've got some even cooler adventures on the way. And you can even suggest your ideas for adventures down in the comments. I love hearing what you have to say. But now, it's time to continue my quest. Let's do this! On days 67 to 70, I followed the ancient spirit villager's instructions to find Estragon's hidden dungeon. I trekked across the forest until I reached the Badlands. There, I finally found a cave entrance guarded by a few floating ghasts. With this kind of security, this has gotta be Estragon's secret dungeon. I bet Ian and Coco are trapped in here. Using my impressive speed, I ran in through the cave's entrance, avoiding the fireballs blasted at me by the patrolling ghast. You can't catch me. I'm gonna get in there and save my friends. On days 71 to 74, I entered the dungeon. There were wither skeleton skulls on the floor, but suddenly, in a black puff of smoke, they reanimated into wither skeletons. Great! More enemies, just what I wanted. Pulled out my iron sword and started dueling the wither skeletons. But they were stronger than I expected. Even iron wasn't that effective at stopping them. I jumped to a platform off the side of the bridge to make some distance between us. That sure is a long way down. The wither skeletons were hesitant to follow over the gap. Then I took a look around and noticed something sitting on the ground nearby. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Whoa, a mace! That's one of the most powerful weapons out there. Looks like I'm getting some good luck after all. With the mace, I made short work of the wither skeleton squad, blasting them all into a pile of ebony bones. Not so tough now, huh? After defeating the wither skeletons, I noticed a gate at the back of the dungeon. I just knew that whatever I wanted, it was hiding behind that door. Let's go! On days 75 to 78, I walked through the gate at the back of the dungeon and entered Estragon's lair. The Humbaba was standing there, waiting for me, with a huge end portal on the ground behind him.
I bet you're proud of yourself. You've come so far. And what a shame it'll be what happens to you in the end. Do you have any final regrets?
Yeah, not taking you down sooner! I pulled out my new mace and ran toward Estragon. He tried to dodge, but I was too fast for him. All it took was one good strike, and Estragon was thrown across the room. Needless to say, he didn't seem happy.
You really have gotten stronger.
And I've gotten angrier. You'll see just how angry I can get if you don't tell me where I can find my friends.
Oh, you'll find them. But to find them, you'll need to follow me.
Estragon jumped into the end portal and disappeared. I wasn't going to let him get away, so I jumped in right after him. On day 79 to 84, I arrived in the end, where Estragon the Humbaba was already waiting for me on top of some kind of tower. The sky above was pitch black. Something about this place made me shudder all the way down to my bones.
Welcome, Zozo, to the end. I hope you find it as hospitable as I do.
Give it up, Estragon. It's over. Tell me where you're keeping my friends.
Oh, they're right here, Zozo, but you'll never see them again. Isn't that just tragic?
Now this creep was really making me angry. Not as weak as I used to be, Estragon. I can defeat you now.
Perhaps you can, but can you beat me after this?
Estragon the Humbaba started floating off the top of the tower. I could feel an energy building in the air. What was happening here?
Prepare to witness true power, Zozo.
In a puff of poisonous purple mist, Estragon harnessed the power of the end and transformed into an Ender Dragon, one of the most powerful enemies imaginable.
This is what it's all been building to. I've harnessed the power of the end and become stronger than I could have ever hoped to be. Soon, with the help of my Endermen and my Endriophages, I will conquer the world!
I'll never let you do that!
You'll be too dead to stop me!
Estragon the Ender Dragon fired a purple fireball at me. I had no hope of surviving like this. I ran away and hopped back into the end portal. If I couldn't figure something out soon, we'd all be doomed. On days 85 to 89, I ran back through the forest to my base. By the time I got back there, I was exhausted from the journey and from my last fight. I needed to take a nap and get my energy back. That's when I got an unexpected guest. The ancient spirit villager floated into the room and woke me up. Ancient spirit villager, what are you doing here?
Seems the situation has become graver than ever, Zozo. Our shared enemy, Estragon, has taken the form of an Ender Dragon.
I know that, ancient spirit villager. I saw it happen.
Then you know how much is at stake, what we must do in order to stop him and save the overworld from his tyranny.
You still think I can beat him?
If you wish to save your friends, Ian and Coco, then you will have to. But you will need to get stronger first. Here, take this.
The ancient spirit villager gave me a sharpness enchantment, which would make my mace even stronger. But if I wanted to beat this new Estragon, I needed to make my spirit stronger as well as my weapons. Feeling well rested, I went out to the statue and put on the final finishing touches. It looked amazing, just like my friend Ian. I knew when he finally saw it, he'd love it. He always was a little full of himself. That's when the ancient spirit villager appeared to me one more time.
Zozo, my time is almost at an end, but I have a message to impart to you. If you wish to survive the wrath of the Ender Dragon, you must wear the ultimate armor. You will find it in a chest, hidden in the Nether Wastes. There is a portal to the Nether on the stone shores. You can do it. I believe in you.
And with that, the ancient spirit villager faded away. I would need to do the rest alone. Thank you, ancient spirit villager, for everything. On days 90 to 94, I used the sharpness enchantment the spirit villager gave me on my mace to make it stronger. I took my enhanced mace and made my way to the stone shores. I could see the nether portal glowing in the distance. It's now or never. Have I made that joke before? There were a few zombies scattered along the shoreline. When they saw me, they immediately started running towards me. Thankfully, by this point, I was way too strong for them. I took them all out with my mace and ran towards the portal. Nothing is gonna stop me now. I jumped into the portal and was suddenly transported to the fiery nightmare world of the Nether. Now I've gotta find that chest. This place is way bigger than I thought. As I wandered further into the Nether Waste, I was attacked by a horde of zombified piglins, all oinking furiously. Guys, I'm just looking for the chest. I don't want any trouble. They weren't interested in listening. Instead, they all attacked me and gave me no choice but to fight back. Take this and that. My mace was so powerful now, it only took one strike each to destroy them. The biggest problem was that my mace was slow, so it took me a while to work through them all. They really should give you guys a raise. Once the zombified piglins were taken care of, I continued exploring until I found an empty bastion remnant. This must be where all those zombified piglins came from. I wonder if they were guarding something. I crept inside, and that's when I saw it, the chest, the exact thing that the ancient spirit villager told me about. I opened it up and found something amazing inside, a set of netherite armor, the strongest armor ever. This would be perfect for keeping me safe against the wrath of Estragon. With the armor in my inventory, I ran back to the portal. It was time to return to my base and prepare. Don't worry, Ian and Coco, I'm coming back for you soon. On days 95 to 96, I continued the prep for my final battle back at the base. I used my library to craft a few new enchantment books that'd give me the edge in the fight against Estragon. Even though my netherite armor was already the strongest armor you could get your hands on, it could still be stronger. I gave it the projectile protection enchantment, so I could withstand anything that Estragon the Ender Dragon threw at me. But I didn't stop there. When you think dragons, you also think fire. That's exactly why I also gave my netherite armor the fire protection enchantment. You won't be able to toast me now, Estragon. But I couldn't just load all my efforts into defense. My mace was powerful, but it was also slow, and it was no good at long range. Not exactly great when your enemy can fly. That's why, just to be sure, I also made a throwing axe to keep in my inventory, just in case Estragon decided to cheat and use his wings. And to think, I started this journey as just a fun YouTuber. Now I'm a powerful dragon hunting warrior. Let's go! On days 97 to 98, I made the hard trek across the forest toward the cave where Estragon was keeping his end portal. I was nervous. After all, the Ender Dragon was one of the strongest enemies I'd ever faced. But I knew in my heart that I could win this thing and save my friends. Do you believe I can do it? Let me know down in the comments, along with what adventure you'd like me to take on next. Anytime you want more Minecraft adventures with me, Zozo, just search ZOZO for more. That's when I noticed that dark, scary dungeon right in front of me. Okay, Estragon, it's now or never. I'm gonna defeat you once and for all. On day 99, I entered the dungeon where Estragon was keeping his portal to the end. If I didn't defeat him here, he might become all-powerful and spread the Ender creatures all over the world. I can't just let that happen. I jumped into the end portal and was immediately transported to the main island of the end. I saw Coco the Chocobo and Ian trapped in cages, watching helplessly, while the mighty Ender Dragon floated up above.
Ha! You actually came back! I can't tell whether you're brave or just foolish, but I'll destroy you either way.
Coco and Ian looked amazed to see me here, and I was so happy to see them.
Zozo, I can't believe you actually came back to help us.
This is literally the coolest thing you've ever done. Don't worry, guys, I'm gonna save you. That just made Estragon laugh.
I thought it might be nice for them to see you get destroyed. It's a little parting gift from me to you, you pathetic little weakling.
Who are you calling weakling? It was time to level up. I equipped my mace and felt myself beginning to change. I upgraded, reaching twice my height and strength, my final form. Let's do this, Estragon. Estragon immediately swooped down towards me, doing the Ender Dragon dive. I quickly ran and dodged out of the way as he collided with the ground. That was too close. I grabbed my mace and ran towards him, ready to deal a blow, but he was already up and flying around again. Oh, come on, that's not fair. He unleashed a purple fireball that flew down towards me and exploded, filling the area around me with that lethal pink haze. I could hardly breathe. I needed to get out of here before it depleted my health. This is even worse than Ender Flu. The Ender Dragon had so many attacks, I could barely keep up. Just as I was recovering from the poison gas, the Ender Dragon flew towards me again, spewing a barrage of normal fireballs down onto me. If I wasn't wearing my enchanted netherite armor, I probably would have been melted, right there and then. Despite my armor, they still dealt some damage, taking out 2 of my hearts. Thankfully, I still had my healing potion to get me back to full health. Bottoms up. And Estragon certainly didn't like that.
Face it, Zozo, I'm all-powerful. You can't stop me. I will rule the overworld.
But I wasn't done just yet. I grabbed my throwing axe and prepared for the next attack. This time, I'd be ready. You want to finish me off, Estragon? Come on and do it then.
If you insist, Zozo.
I saw Estragon preparing for another dive towards me. This would be my chance. As he got closer, I threw my axe at him, throwing off his arc and sending him collapsing into the ground with an earth-shaking crash. Before Estragon the Ender Dragon could get himself back up into the air, I pulled out my powerful mace and ran over, straight towards his head. I could see him starting to panic.
Wait, Zozo, no, you can't do this.
This is what happens when you kidnap my friends. Boom! With one strike of my mace to his head, Estragon the Ender Dragon was destroyed for good. It was over!
You did it, Zozo!
Yeah, you won! On day 100, me, Ian, and Coco escaped the end. I let them run ahead while I turned around to throw my mace into the portal to destroy it, so nobody like Estragon would ever come back. The portal started bubbling up, so I rushed to get far away from it. When I turned around, I saw a dozen of tiny falling stars raining down on the dungeon and portal, slowly reducing it to rubble. Then we made our way back to the base to finally hang out and chill. The adventure may have been over, but now with my friends back, the fun had just begun. On day 1, I spawned in as MrBeast, the YouTuber famous for his big money and crazy challenges. But wait, I'm so small and I don't even have a beard. I'm not MrBeast, I'm Baby Beast. Before I could think about increasing my size or my fortune, a big mean bounty hunter came running out of some nearby woods. Uh-oh, is that a bow and arrow?
That's right, and I'm a dead shot with this thing too. I'm the toughest, nastiest bounty hunter around these parts, and you better start running, cause someone put a bounty on your head.
A bounty? What does that mean?
It means someone is gonna pay me the big bucks if I can capture you in 100 days. And trust me, it won't take 100 days, cause I'm the best there is.
Before I could say anything else, he started firing at me. The bounty hunter was such a good shot, I had to run for my life deeper into the forest. Well, he just laughed at me. Escape this bounty hunter for 100 days? Boy, do I have my work cut out for me this time. On day 2, I made my way into the closest forest I could find. I didn't stop, knowing that the bounty hunter might still be chasing me. Here in the trees, I have way more cover. It'll be harder for the bounty hunter to hit me with his arrows. Gosh, and I definitely don't want to get hit by those arrows. I only have 3 lousy hearts. I kept running, looking over my shoulder now and then to see if anybody was following me. Phew, it looks like I might have lost him. For now, anyway. That's when a huge gorilla charged out of the trees. He was buff and tough, as you'd probably expect from a gorilla. Sorry that I'm in your forest, Mr. Gorilla. I'd give you some money for it, but I'm not full MrBeast yet. It's an emergency though. I'm being chased by a bounty hunter. The gorilla laughed.
Yeah, I know you're being chased by a bounty hunter, because he hired me to help him. If I take you to him, we're gonna split the bounty.
Oh, come on, that's not fair. How can you sleep at night going after innocent people like this?
Believe me, the bounty money will help. With that money, I'll be a gorillionaire.
And with that, he attacked me, pounding me with his huge gorilla fists. I tried to fight back, but without any weapons and only my puny punches, I didn't leave a scratch on him.
Huh, this really is like taking candy from a baby.
Just when it seemed like all was lost, a donkey with a saddle came running at us out of the woods.
Hop on my back if you want to live.
So I hopped on the donkey's back and she carried me out of there. That was close, too close. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. On day 3, the kind donkey who saved me took me back to her secret hideout, deep in the woods. There, I met the donkey's friend, a pig who was also hiding out.
This is Napoleon. He's the smartest pig I've ever met. Well, I don't know about the smartest, but I definitely know a thing or two.
Wait, that's perfect. If you're super smart, then maybe you can help me with my quest.
What quest is that?
I'm being chased by the meanest, scariest bounty hunter in the world, and if he gets me in the next 100 days, I'm toast.
They say the best defense is a good offense. If you don't want this bounty hunter fella to get to you, then you need to stay under the radar, get strong, and get him first.
Now that's a cool idea. How would I start, Napoleon?
You're gonna need tools, weapons, and a secret base for starters. And from there, the training will begin.
Taking Napoleon's advice, Donkey and I set off further into the forest. The bounty hunter wouldn't get me over the next 100 days, I'd get him. On days 4 to 5, Donkey and I decided to start gathering our first materials. The forest was full of trees, so it wouldn't be hard to find wood. Come on, Donkey, let's get ourselves some wooden blocks. It wasn't easy to punch down the trees, but with the help of Donkey, we'd soon broken down enough trees to make a crafting bench and some basic wooden tools. It's crafting time. I made myself a wooden pickaxe, perfect for a low-level player like me.
But why settle for a low-level tool? You'll be able to mine, chop, and harvest even faster with stone tools.
Donkey had a point. I used my wooden pickaxe to mine into the ground and collect some stone blocks. Then, with the help of my crafting bench, I created my first set of stone tools. But most importantly of all, I made myself my first formidable weapon, a super cool stone sword. Let's see that bounty hunter mess with me now. The next piece of advice Napoleon had given me was building a secret hideout. It couldn't be too obvious, or the bounty hunter would find me easily. I picked a spot between some trees and started mining downwards. Underground would be the perfect spot for my base. I built some stairs and a place for Donkey and I to sleep underground, with some torches to light the way. Hopefully the bounty hunter would never notice us here. But all this mining and crafting had worked up a hunger in me. That's when I noticed an apple on the ground. Oh, that's perfect! I picked up the apple and ate it. Then something amazing happened. I leveled up, growing into a slightly bigger Mr. Beast, with 4 hearts now rather than 3. This is awesome! Next I need to start growing my bank account. On days 6 to 8, I decided to go exploring the plains again. The bounty hunter would probably never expect me to go back there. Still, I didn't want to push my luck. That's why I kept a low profile, crouching and trying to sneak around as much as I could. When you're up against a crazy bounty hunter, stealth is a good skill to practice. But my stealth came under fire when I saw an innocent young gazelle getting chased by a gang of spooky husks. I wanted to stay under the radar, but I could not help someone in trouble. Get away from her, you nasty husks! I pulled out my stone sword and charged in, ready to take them all on. But the battle wasn't as easy as I'd hoped. The husks attacked back, and I was fighting for my life. One of the husks attacked me and knocked off some of my hearts. That's it, no more Mr. Nice Beast. Fueled by my determination, I fought back, and soon all the husks were destroyed. Then the gazelle came in to thank me.
Thank you, you saved me. I'll be forever in your debt.
Don't mention it, Gazelle. Is there anything else I could do to help?
Well, I was wandering across the plains with my father, Papa Gazelle, when all these undead attacked. He told me to run, but he's still trapped back there. Can you help him?
Of course, Gazelle. Let's do it. On days 9 to 10, me and the young gazelle ran across the plains, looking for her father. He had to be around here somewhere.
Look, that's him, over there.
I turned and saw the last thing I wanted to see, Papa Gazelle being chased by a wither boss. He was firing explosive skulls and barely missing the poor gazelle. Uh-oh, withers are stronger than anything else I've faced.
Please, we need to try. It's the only way to save my papa.
I couldn't say no to that, so I once again took up my sword and ran towards the wither, trying to hide my fear. Pick on someone your own size, wither. So then, he started picking on me. The wither turned and fired a flaming skull that exploded on the ground next to me. I immediately knew there was no way I'd be able to win this fight at my current strength. I'll never be able to stop the bounty hunter if I get destroyed by a wither. Feeling ashamed of myself, I ran away. I retreated back to the young gazelle. Come back to my base with me, Gazelle. We'll figure out a way to save your dad back there. On days 11 to 12, I came back to my base with Gazelle, ready to make some upgrades and improvements. We went underground, and I mined an additional room for Gazelle to sleep in. But that's when I realized something important. An underground base is a great hideout, but if the bounty hunter finds us here, we're trapped. I need to build an escape tunnel. So that's what I started building. The escape tunnel would be an ongoing project though. I couldn't build one big enough for us all in just one day. During my day of mining and crafting, I paid another visit to Donkey and asked her what she knew about the bounty hunter and why he could have been after me.
Well, it's probably got something to do with the prophecy.
Prophecy? What prophecy?
For the longest time, humans have kept the beasts down. You know, beasts like me and Napoleon and Gazelle, and humans like it that way. But prophecy tells of a human who will liberate the beasts from human control and deliver us all to freedom. The prophecies say that this man would be named Mr. Beast.
Wait, Mr. Beast? I'm playing Mr. Beast. Maybe the prophecy is about me.
That explains everything. The humans must think you're going to free all of the beasts, so they pooled their money together to hire the best bounty hunter in the world, the man who's known for being able to capture anybody. But if you can defeat him, you might be able to free the beasts.
But I wasn't even strong enough to beat the wither yet. I needed to get a lot stronger before I could do that. In the meantime, I used my stone tools to start mining for iron underground. This would help make all my tools and weapons stronger. After a short time, I found a nice stash of iron and mined it up. And it isn't all about fighting, it's important to have food too. That's why I started adding extra chests into my underground base where I could store all the apples I collected from the forest. On days 13 to 15, I once again returned to Donkey and asked her for advice on how I could get stronger.
Well, the best way to get stronger is by training. And the only way to train is to really test yourself. Which biomes have you visited?
Now that you mention it, Donkey, I've only ever visited the forest and the plains.
There's your problem. You're never gonna get stronger if you don't master every biome. Try to defeat a powerful enemy in the desert next.
Great idea, Donkey! Before I headed to the desert biome, I needed to upgrade my equipment. I used the iron I'd mined to forge myself a new set of iron tools and some iron armor. And like Napoleon had said earlier, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, so I made myself a cool iron sword too. I'm feeling stronger already! I left my base and crossed the forest until I found myself at the desert biome. Already, this place was way nastier than the other biomes. In my new armor, the heat was killing me. Speaking of killing me, that's also when the gorilla appeared from behind and hit me.
Thought you could forget about your old pal, the gorillionaire, huh? That's a mistake you'll pay dearly for, my friend.
What? How did you sneak up on me like that?
I have my ways. Now it's time for me to take you down. I'm gonna get that bounty.
The gorilla attacked me again, but this time I was stronger. His punches didn't do nearly as much damage against my iron armor. Now it's my turn, gorillionaire. With a few hits from my iron sword, he was down and I'd won. That's when I saw he dropped a frontiersman cap. This lets the wearer move faster while sneaking. This must have been how he snuck up on me. I equipped the hat myself. This would be super helpful in avoiding that awful bounty hunter. Just then, I started to feel stronger and I gained another heart. 5 hearts? That's more like it. I guess the desert training was worth it. Feeling better than before, I went back to my base and continued working on my escape tunnel. We made some good progress, but I wasn't going to feel much safer until it was complete. On days 16 to 19, I decided it was time to try getting rich by exploring an underground cavern. After all, you can't be Mr. Beast without getting rich. I bet there are some great precious gemstones down here. I used my iron pickaxe to easily mine through the stone all around me, setting up torches along the way so I could see where I was going. That's when suddenly, an elder skulk crawled toward me out of the darkness.
Bet you never thought you'd see me down here.
No offense, dude, but I don't even know who you are.
I'm the Elder Skulk, and I'm working with the bounty hunter to bring you down.
Jeez, why is everybody working with this meanie? I don't get it.
Money, my boy. It makes the world go round. If you have enough money, you can do anything.
Even pay you guys to leave me alone?
Sure, but you're gonna need a lot of money to beat what all the humans are paying us to come after you. Now let's go.
But I wasn't gonna go down without a fight. As the Elder Skull came running at me, I dodged his most powerful attack and took out my sword. It only took a few choice swings to take the monster down, but at least he'd given me a new idea. If I can't beat the bounty hunter, maybe I can buy him. On days 20 to 22, I made my way back to the desert for more training. I was also gathering materials for more upgrades to my gear. That's when I got attacked by a swarm of spiders, all trying to bite and sting me. You guys are so rude. Can't you see I'm in the middle of something here? It didn't take long for me to swat those nasty insects with my sword. Then they dropped a protection enchantment along with some string. This will make my armor even stronger. I applied the enchantment and felt my confidence rising too. That's when I remembered something important. Papa Gazelle, I can save him now. As quickly as I could, I ran across the desert and returned to the plains. I saw the same sad display. Poor Papa Gazelle getting chased around by the Wither Boss, who was still firing skulls at him. I've had all I can stand, and I can't stand it anymore. It's time to take this Wither Boss out. I ran in, sword blazing, dodging every flaming skull the Wither Boss blasted at me. With one carefully aimed strike, the Wither Boss was gone! You're free now, Papa Gazelle. Go home, and I'll send your kid back to you. Papa Gazelle ran off. I'd finally gotten strong enough to free him. Maybe I could save myself from the bounty hunter after all.
How sweet. You saved the gazelle, but it won't save you.
I turned and saw the bounty hunter aiming his bow at me. How did you find me?
You weren't exactly being subtle, kid, and you should know by now, I'm the best there is.
He fired an arrow and got me square in the chest. Even with my enchanted armor, he knocked off some of my hearts. I better get out of here before he shoots me again. I ran away, zigzagging to avoid more arrows.
You can run, but you can't hide. No matter where you go, I will hunt you down. You'll never be Mr. Beast.
On days 23 to 26, I returned to my base, at least happy to have some good news for one of my friends. I found the young gazelle chilling out in the room I'd built for her. Gazelle, I defeated the Wither Boss and saved your dad. He's back at your house waiting for you.
That's amazing, thank you! I can't wait to see him again. I'll never forget this.
With the young gazelle gone back to her family home, it left me with a free room. A room I quickly started turning into an armory. The bounty hunter is a master of weapons, so I need to get just as good if I'm going to beat him. The main thing I needed was a ranged weapon, so I could fight back without getting too close. That's why I made myself a cool new crossbow. But it wasn't just the crossbow I built. I continued working on the escape tunnel. If my calculations were correct, by the time it was done, if the bounty hunter attacked my base, we could all escape all the way to the mountains. On days 27 to 31, I finished my escape tunnel and used it to travel all the way to the mountains. This will be the perfect way to get out of danger if I need to.
Out of danger, you say?
I turned to see that a snow leopard had somehow snuck up on me. I pointed my crossbow at him just to be safe. What are you doing here, snow leopard? Do you work with the bounty hunter?
What? Heavens no! The bounty hunter aligned with the humans, just like the horde of Viking villagers who destroyed my home.
They destroyed your home? That's terrible. Let me help you.
How do I know you don't just side with the other humans?
I'm not just any human, Snow Leopard. I'm Mr. Beast, the friend to all beasts. Go and stay at my base. You can take the escape tunnel. We'll make a plan to get back to your home later.
Oh, thank you, kind stranger. In exchange for your generosity, I'll tell you the location of a cave with diamonds near here.
The Snow Leopard marked it on my map and left back through the escape tunnel. I continued searching until I discovered the cave. And just like the Snow Leopard told me, there were some diamond deposits for me to mine in there. Jackpot! I'll be as rich as Mr. Beast in no time. I returned to my base, back through my escape tunnel. With all my new diamonds, I realized how drab my base looked. I crafted and added some banners and bookshelves to give it some ambiance. That's when the Snow Leopard approached me again.
I sense a terrible disturbance. The Vikings who destroyed my home. I believe they've invaded the forest. We need to stop them at once.
On days 32 to 35, Snow Leopard and I left the base and ventured back out into the forest, hoping to hunt down the Viking villagers who had destroyed his home in the mountains.
Look, there they are. I'd recognize them anywhere.
I looked straight ahead and saw what the Snow Leopard had seen. A group of armed Viking villagers surrounding the secret hideout of Napoleon the Pig. He was doing his best to reason with them.
I don't want any trouble, fellas. I swear. I'm just a humble pig. Leave me be.
But they weren't listening. The Viking villagers were about to attack Napoleon. I pulled out my crossbow and started blasting, hoping to distract them. Instead, it all broke out into chaos. Some of the Viking villagers ran towards me. Bird ran forward to meet and fight them. But as much as I tried to fire more crossbow bolts at the Viking villagers running for Napoleon, I was already too late. They destroyed him and burned down his hideout. Napoleon, no! This unlocked the secret rage of me and Snow Leopard. We charged in, him using his claws and teeth, and me pulling out my sword. It didn't take long for us to defeat the remaining Viking villagers.
I'm so sorry about your friend. Perhaps humans and beasts can never live in harmony.
On days 36 to 39, I needed a change of scenery to help me process Napoleon's death. I decided to make my way to the beach, sneaking all the way to make sure that the bounty hunter didn't come after me when I was most vulnerable. That's exactly the kind of mean move he'd go for. But while I was exploring the beach, I found another beast hanging around, a boar. He looked like he needed some help, and because he reminded me of Napoleon, I decided I'd do whatever I needed to. What's up, Mr. Boar? Do you have a problem that a Mr. Beast could help with?
I was fishing for some magic yellow fish in the nearby ocean, but a small group of aggressive giant lobsters stopped me.
I can take care of them, no problem at all. I found my way to the boar's fishing spot and saw the lobsters skittering around, snipping their big red claws. But they were no match for my crossbow. I pulled it out, and with a few well-placed shots, all the lobsters were gone. It felt good to be able to help someone after I'd had such a bad day. I went back to the boar and told him the good news. In return, he told me something interesting. The bounty hunter had a weakness. His powers were reduced in the dark. Thanks for the tip, Mr. Boar. That'll probably come in real handy. On days 40 to 43, I returned to my base and continued to spruce it up. I installed lanterns down the length of the escape tunnel just to make it easier to use. That's when Donkey approached me with a request.
I heard about some horse friends of mine that escaped from a human stable. Would you mind building some extra rooms for them down here so they have somewhere to be?
Of course, Donkey. That'll be no problem at all. I mined a few extra rooms and widened the entrance to the secret base so we could fit some of Donkey's new horse friends inside. The more the merrier. While the horses filed in, Snow Leopard came into my room and shared some vital information.
My Snow Leopard senses have been speaking to me again. There's an abandoned mine deep in the forest that I visited once. I have a feeling you may find something you're looking for there. Just be warned, it may be looking for you too.
On days 44 to 49, I made my way deep into the forest in the dead of night. I started traveling at night more often since the boar told me the bounty hunter's weakness. Soon enough, I'm gonna be strong enough to beat you, bounty hunter. Eventually, I found the abandoned mine that the Snow Leopard had told me about and crept inside. It was dark and spooky in the abandoned mine, so I used some torches to light the way. However, the second the torches were in place, I heard something coming towards me. Hey, who goes there? I was lucky and dodged in time, as an arrow flew towards me and embedded itself in the wall next to me. An arrow that could have only belonged to one person I knew, the bounty hunter.
Hello again. You've fallen right into my trap.
The bounty hunter stepped out of the darkness. I know about the prophecy, bounty hunter. I know why the humans paid you. They know I'm Mr. Beast, and they hate the beasts, so they want to stay in control of them. The bounty hunter laughed.
They don't hate the beasts. They're jealous of the beasts. They were born with brains, but the beasts were born with natural strength and instincts. What they really want is to harness the beast, produce something with the mind of a human and the strength of a beast.
Such a thing is impossible, bounty hunter.
Impossible? You fool, it's already happened.
Then, another thing charged out of the dark towards me. A creature I'd never seen before. A huge villager beast. A fusion of human and beast. And it was ready to fight me.
Good luck, you're gonna need it.
And with that, the bounty hunter disappeared, leaving only me and the villager beast. It was time to fight! On days 50 to 53, the villager beast ran at me, moving faster than I'd ever seen a human move before. I fired at him with the crossbow, hitting him with multiple arrows, but it didn't even seem to hurt or slow him down. The villager beast rammed into me and knocked me back against the wall, almost stunning me. I pulled out my sword and tried to fight back. It was shockingly fast and strong, managing to deflect or simply ignore most of my attacks. In the end, it took all the strength I had to finally defeat this unnatural monster. Jeez, I hope I never have to fight one of those horrible things again. When the villager beast died, it left a book marked research notes on the ground. It seemed to have been written by some kind of evil scientist, probably the one who'd first made this monster.
The tests are going well, but the subject is still far too weak. I need the bounty hunter to capture even stronger creatures if I'm to master the fusion and create the ultimate combination of human and beast. The time will soon come when I have perfected the process, and then nothing will stop us.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. On days 54 to 57, I climbed out of the abandoned mine, shaken by my fight with the villager beast. It seemed that the plans the bounty hunter was involved with were so much worse than I thought. I wanted to go back to my base and warn the others, but when I left the mine, Sven the Viking, one of the strongest Viking warriors of all, was waiting for me, sword at the ready.
Well, you survived. That's impressive. The villager beast is a powerful creature, but my instructions are clear. The bounty hunter told me to destroy you if you survived and escaped, so I guess that's what's gonna happen now. Sorry.
I didn't have the time or patience to listen to Sven's babbling, so I fired at him with my crossbow. Once, twice, 3 times. But somehow, every time, he dodged. Can't we just talk this out, man? I pulled out my sword, and Sven kept attacking me. He was a strong fighter, but I'd beaten the villager beast, so he didn't seem that challenging in comparison. Once he was gone, he dropped an interesting item on the ground. Some Outback leggings, which massively increase your ability to dodge projectiles. So that's how he kept dodging my crossbow bolts. I better take these for myself. They'll probably come in handy for the next time I face the bounty hunter. After I equipped the Outback leggings, I made my way back to the base. I met with the snow leopard again, told him about all the crazy things that had happened, and showed him the book that I collected from the villager beast.
This is troubling. These writings, they seem to be the work of the plague doctor, a mad scientist who had theories about fusing humans and beasts to create the ultimate creatures. I thought he was gone, but he seemingly returned. This means all of us are in danger. It's worse than I possibly could have thought.
On days 58 to 62, after receiving the disturbing news from Snow Leopard about the Plague Doctor, I decided to work on improving and upgrading the base however I could. First came the escape tunnel. I built a track along the floor of the cave so a minecart could be installed. This would make it a lot easier and faster to get from one end to another. I think I'll give it a spin right now. Woohoo! I took the minecart down to the other end of the escape tunnel and ventured out into the mountain biome again. I explored the diamond cave that Snow Leopard had shown me and mined even more diamonds. I used the escape tunnel and the minecart once again to take these back to my base where I built my first pieces of diamond gear, a diamond chestplate, and an awesome diamond sword. I ended the 4 days by building additional levels and rooms to my underground base in case we needed to help more beasts hide from the bounty hunter and the evil plague doctor. There's only one way out of this, and it's with all of us working together. On day 63 to day 66, Donkey came up to me with a clever idea.
Humans have been known to use boats to travel along the river in groups. Maybe if you follow the river along, you might be able to find one of their settlements, or even find your way to the bounty hunter's new lair.
Good idea, Donkey! I'll wait until nightfall, then the bounty hunter will never see me coming. So that's exactly what happened. I waited until nightfall, then I made my way out through the forest until I found the river. Then I just followed the river along. Suddenly, I got a spooky feeling, like something was waiting nearby, and turned to see a night apparition floating right behind me. I immediately pointed my crossbow at him, not wanting to take any chances.
Wait, I'm friendly. I just need your help.
Oh really? What's going on? I'm sorry for pointing my crossbow at you, by the way. I've had kind of a rough month.
It's okay, I understand. We're all a little jumpy with the bounty hunter's men hanging around.
Wait, the bounty hunter's men? Do you know where I can find them?
Of course. They chased me out of my home in a cave nearby. I think they were looking for precious gemstones.
Then let's go fight them. I need some answers before it's too late.
Count me in.
So we ran to the nearest cave, ready for battle. On day 67 to 70, the night apparition and I ran into the cave he'd once called his home. The henchmen of the bounty hunter, 3 gold warriors, were already inside, mining at the walls with iron pickaxes. What are you goofballs doing? The 3 gold warriors suddenly turned to me and the night apparition and pulled out iron swords.
We're under strict orders from the bounty hunter to mine as many diamonds as possible. If you interfere, we will destroy you.
Why does the bounty hunter need so many diamonds? Is he really just that greedy?
No, he and his employer want all of their soldiers to have diamond swords. We'll all be stronger that way.
Oh, diamond swords like this? I pulled out my diamond sword and charged in. The gold warriors didn't hesitate to fight back. They were strong and well trained. But thankfully, I wasn't alone in this fight. The night apparition floated around the cave, distracting the gold warriors long enough for me to get the edge. Soon enough, I defeated all 3 with my trusty diamond blade. Thanks for the assist, night apparition.
Thank you for getting my home back. Feel free to take any of the diamonds those guys left behind.
Don't mind if I do. I mined the remaining diamonds and prepared to leave when the night apparition said one more thing to me.
I heard the Golden Warriors murmur something about coming from the Badlands when they first chased me out. I figured that might be useful information for you.
On day 71 to 74, I began following up on the lead that the night apparition had given me. If what the Gold Warriors said was true, I might have been able to find something I wanted there. Yes. And if what you want is more crazy Minecraft adventures like this one, search for more Zozo videos by searching ZOZO. By the time I arrived at the Badlands, the only structure I could see was a busted down looking camp. But that wasn't all. The bounty hunter was waiting for me.
I'm impressed. You shouldn't have survived.
I just started firing arrows at him from my crossbow, not even letting him finish his sentence. He somehow managed to dodge every single one.
Nice shots. Now it's my turn.
He pulled out his bow and fired a few arrows at me. But now, I had the Outback leggings on my side. With speed that impressed even him, I managed to dodge all of his arrows too. That all you got, bounty hunter? You're dealing with beast mode, Mr. Beast here. I pulled out my sword and ran at him. He just stood there, not even trying to dodge. But when I got close, he pulled out his close-ranged weapon, a battle axe. With one strike, he sent me skidding back across the Badlands, getting me down to half a heart.
Guess you're not as strong as you think you are. 25 days left. You're gonna be mine before the time runs out.
Injured and surprised, I did the only thing I could, run off. I'd finish this another day. On day 75 to 78, I returned across the forest to my base. I built myself an extra room just for sitting around and relaxing, because after everything I'd experienced, I really needed to take a load off. That's when the snow leopard approached me, carrying a book. As you may have noticed, I sometimes dabble in a little bit of magic. I'm able to sense things other people can't. It's true, that is something I've noticed about you. Well, I've taken my skills in magic and used it to create this book. If you read it, you will finally unlock your true potential, and it will help you on your next steps to becoming the hero you were always meant to be. Wow, thank you, Snow Leopard. I'm honored. I took up the book and finally read it. I felt the change immediately, getting bigger, stronger, and getting an impressive 10 hearts. But more than that, I took a look into my inventory and found that it was stuffed with money. Snow Leopard, you did it! I'm finally Mr. Beast! On day 79 to 84, I went out to the desert to test out my new Mr. Beast powers. I soon encountered one of the most dangerous creatures in the desert, the sand and wind spirit known as the Guster. These things really packed a punch, but thankfully, so did I. I ran in with my diamond sword, feeling no fear, and destroyed the Guster in a single strike. Whoa, I really am strong now. My strength caught the attention of a nearby roadrunner who wanted to see if I was as fast as I was strong. He challenged me to a few races. You're on, roadrunner. We ran up and down a stretch of the desert together. I was faster than I expected, but he was way faster than that. It seemed that no matter how fast I went, the roadrunner was always just a little bit faster. But he still thought I gave him a good race, so when the race was over, he gave me a potion as a gift. A speed potion. Thanks, roadrunner. Now I can run twice as fast. On days 85 to 89, I put my new speed to good use, running all the way back to my base, only to find that its secret entrance had been discovered, and it was being attacked by a group of villager beasts, just like the one that had attacked me in the abandoned mine. You guys aren't meant to be here? Wait, what about my friends? Thankfully, my hard work earlier had paid off. They'd all escaped through the minecart escape tunnel before the villager beasts could get to them. But those monsters were still destroying my base. I pulled out my diamond sword and ran to fight them. With my new strength and skill, the first one I attacked only took a few hits to defeat, and the rest started running. I'm not letting you guys get away this time. I started chasing them into the forest, but I was interrupted when a tiny rabbit asked for my help, finding his lost carrot. Okay, I'll help you find the carrot. Just know this really isn't a good time. While the villager beast ran away, I searched around until I found the rabbit's carrot behind a tree. I grabbed it and gave it back to him before continuing to chase the villager beasts into the distance. I was once again extremely thankful for my roadrunner speed. On days 90 to 94, the chase continued until I passed from the forest into the jungle. It was so hot and humid in there, I couldn't help but slow down a little. But this turned out to be exactly what the bad guys had planned. The villager beast had just been there to lure me to the plague doctor's most dangerous creation yet, the mutant zombie. Oh no, that thing is huge! I pulled out my crossbow and started blasting it as it ran towards me, but it still had no effect. All I could do was pull out my diamond sword and face it one-on-one. Time for an epic battle of mutant versus beast! On days 95 to 97, the mutant zombie charged me like a raging bull. I was able to dodge it just in time and stab it in the side with my diamond sword, but it barely seemed to faze it. Already, the mutant zombie turned and started attacking me again. Each one of its punches damaged me until I was low on hearts. I needed to do something, quickly. Hey, mutant zombie, how would you like some cold, hard cash? In true Mr. Beast style, I threw some of my vast collection of money onto the ground. The mutant zombie was immediately distracted and ran towards the cash. I guess the Elder Skulk was right. Money really does make the world go around sometimes. While he was distracted, I took advantage of my roadrunner speed and struck the mutant zombie again and again with all of my might, until finally it fell and was defeated. The mutant zombie only dropped one thing, a map, with exact directions to the plague doctor's laboratory, where I'd find him and the bounty hunter. 3 days left. It's time to end this. On day 98, I made my way back to my base to make the final preparations for my assault on the plague doctor's lab. As I prepared, my friends from around the base came to offer me some help or words of encouragement. First came the horses.
Thanks for giving us a place to stay. You're a real beast.
Next came the snow leopard.
You can do this. The prophecy has all been true up to this point. You will defeat the bounty hunter, destroy the plague doctor, and liberate the beasts.
And finally, my oldest friend, the donkey.
I made you something special to bring with you. Firework bolts. These will really make your crossbow pack a punch.
With everything said and done, it was time to make my way to the laboratory and save the day. On day 99, I crossed the forest, following the directions on the map left by the mutant zombie. On the way there, I passed a turtle, minding his own business in the forest.
Good luck. I believe in ya.
Thanks, turtle. I'm sure it'll be turtly fine in the end.
Okay, don't push it.
I kept walking, remaining stealthy, until I saw the plague doctor's laboratory in the distance. But this wouldn't be as easy as I thought. The building was surrounded by villager beasts. I loaded up one of my new firework rounds into my crossbow and prepared to fire. But if I missed my shot, would it lead the other one straight to me? I might have miscalculated here. That's when an unexpected old friend turned up. It was the young gazelle, who I'd saved months ago. She ran past the front of the laboratory, catching the attention of the villager beasts. They started chasing her, running away from the entrance of the laboratory. Finally, my chance! Using my Roadrunner speed, I ran straight for the door. On day 100, I entered the laboratory, crossbow loaded and ready to fire. The laboratory was eerie. It was filled with cells containing more villager beasts, who must have been the failed experiments of the plague doctor.
Do you like what you see, young man?
I turned and saw the plague doctor, and of course, the bounty hunter waiting for me.
All these wonderful creations, but they're flawed, aren't they? But you can't make a delicious meal without the best quality ingredients. And for perfect human-beast hybrid, I need the ideal subject. Once my bounty hunter has defeated you, you will be that subject. It's why I put that bounty on you in the first place.
Day 100. You made it all the way. I hope that eases the pain of being defeated.
Not a chance, bounty hunter. I'm not just some pesky human. I'm Mr. Beast. The bounty hunter pulled out his bow and prepared to shoot, but I was quicker than he was. I fired a firework bolt at him, but I didn't wait up. I pulled out my diamond sword and ran at him, ready to land a lethal blow.
Bounty hunter, destroy!
The bounty hunter immediately pulled out his battle axe and parried the blow from my diamond sword. He was a formidable opponent.
You've gotten strong. I'm impressed.
We clashed weapons while the plague doctor watched. I needed to keep absolute focus in order to dodge or block every attack he threw at me. I was just waiting for a window. At the perfect moment, I pulled out my crossbow and fired one of the firework bolts at close range, right into the bounty hunter's chest. He was finally defeated.
You've won. Well done. Now finish me off.
What? No, I'm not gonna finish you off. I'm going to hire you. Just like Mr. Beast, I laid out stacks of money in front of him, even more than the bounty that the plague doctor had put on me.
Wow, that's a lot of money. What would you like for me to do, boss?
I want you to destroy this entire lab, take the plague doctor to jail, and retire.
I'll make it happen, boss.
What? You can't do that! No! No!
And with the bounty hunter now doing my job for me, I decided to do the most sensible thing. Go back to my base and hang out with my friends. On day 1, I spawned in as Godzilla. Haha, check me out. I am so tiny. Look, I only have 5 hearts. I was so surprised, I almost didn't notice a scientist sneaking up behind me.
I've got you now.
The scientist started throwing nets at me, barely missing. Whoa, who is this guy? I've got to get out of here. The scientist continued to chase me, throwing nets. Up ahead, I could see a small hole, so I hurried and jumped inside, landing in a small cave. He's too big to fit, so I should be safe in here. Just then, I heard a rattling sound, and there was a rattlesnake right there. Oh no! I jumped back out of the hole right next to the scientist.
There you are, you little lizard.
I ran off as he kept throwing his nets. I was running out of places to hide. That's when I had an idea. I hope you don't like getting wet, and I hope I know how to swim. I dove into the ocean and was happy to find that not only could I swim, but I could swim extremely fast. It looked like the scientist wasn't interested in diving in after me either.
I'll get you.
What a start to the day. Who was that guy? Why would he want me? Maybe he was just trying to capture all the animals. I decided to ask a nearby fish if he knew anything. As I was swimming, I realized I could breathe underwater too. Hey, did you see that guy back there? What's his deal? The fish didn't respond and started attacking me. It was a barracuda. Hey, stop it! I don't want to hurt you, but I will. The barracuda didn't say anything and kept attacking. I guess he didn't know how to talk. Well, let's see what these claws can do. I swiped him with my claws and saw that I packed a punch. It only took a few hits to take him down. I was strong enough to get out of that fight, but he was just a little fish. I don't know if my claws will help me out of something much bigger. I was feeling tired after such an eventful day, so I made my way back to the shore to look for a place to rest. Hopefully I wouldn't run into that scientist again, but just in case, I needed to start getting prepared to fight. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out from under the tree. Today's the day I get set to fight back. If I was going to survive, I needed a safe place to live. I didn't know where that scientist was operating from, so I didn't feel safe building a base on land. I decided my best bet was in the water. Before I can get to building, I need the tools to do it. I immediately got punching some trees so that I could get some wood. With the wood, I made a crafting table and fashioned a pickaxe. Then I mined out some stone and used the stone to make a set of stone tools: a pickaxe, axe, shovel, and sword. With my new tools, I started gathering the materials I would need. Building a base out in the water was going to be an interesting challenge, but I think the final build is going to look really cool. While I was gathering some supplies in the forest, I saw a boar off in the distance. I don't think that barracuda could talk, but maybe this boar could help me out. I made my way over to him. Hey buddy, have you seen a scientist roaming around? The boar took one look at me and charged. Oh come on, I was just trying to figure out what's going on. This guy was hitting pretty hard, and I took quite a bit of damage. It's a good thing I had made myself a sword. I'm sorry for bothering you, but now you're just being rude. I used my sword and took him down. All Alright, looks like I'm the only talking animal out here. Let's get back to work. I managed to gather a bunch of other materials and even came across an old boat. There were a lot of materials to grab, so I got as much as I could so my vision could come to life. I headed into the water and found a good spot to build my base on the seafloor. Using the materials I had gathered, I built a platform and started putting everything I would need together. It was going to be hard for the scientists to find me down here. I was able to make some really good progress, but I'd need to go find some more materials tomorrow. On day 3, I needed to get some more supplies, so I headed over to a nearby mountain. I made my way up to the top of the mountain and saw some watermelon. I went ahead and harvested them when suddenly I heard a strange noise. Huh? Where did that come from? I'm not letting someone sneak up on me again. I looked from side to side but didn't see anything. Maybe it was just the wind? What's that? I looked around just in time to see a giant bird swoop down and pick me up. Hey, let me go! What's the big idea? She didn't seem like she was trying to hurt me, but where could she be taking me? After a moment, I could see something huge in the distance. It was a giant nest. Uh-oh, I must be food for her babies. Moments later, the bird dropped me into the nest, and luckily the babies hadn't hatched yet, but I could hear something moving inside of the eggs. I had to get out of here.
Hey, you!
Who was that? I turned and saw a little squirrel standing there. Hey, you could talk. I was starting to think I was the only animal here that could.
Yeah, I can talk, but you hear that? These eggs are starting to crack, and we gotta get out of here.
You're a squirrel. Can't you just climb out of here?
The nest is made of mud. I can't get a good grip. If you can dig us out with your claws, though, I have a good way to get us to the ground.
The eggs started making even more cracking sounds. We had to hurry. I started swinging my claws and managed to break through the walls of the nest. Oh man, that is a long way down. I hope you know what you're doing. The squirrel tossed me an umbrella. Suddenly, there was a big crack, and we heard some baby birds starting to tweet. Jump! The squirrel and I jumped off the nest and slowly floated down to the ground. Whew, that was a close call. I've been having a lot of those lately.
Don't tell me, did you run into that scientist too?
Yeah, what's that guy's problem?
He's been trying to round up all the talking animals. All I know is anyone he captures is never seen again. He must be experimenting on them, or something worse.
I could tell the squirrel must have lost some good friends to this scientist, but I didn't want to pressure her. Well, we can find a way to stop him. Come on, you can live in my base with me. We should be safe there. On days 4 to 5, the squirrel and I had made it to the beach closest to my base. That's when I realized she wasn't going to be able to live underwater with me, but I had an idea. By the way, what's your name?
My friends call me Sandy.
Sandy it is. Could you give me a hand collecting some sand? I know just the thing to build for you. Sandy and I spent some time gathering sand for me to use in the build. With all the sand collected, I loaded it into the furnace and started smelting it into glass. Just because she's a squirrel doesn't mean she can't live under the ocean. With the glass complete, I got to work on building her a house. My idea was to use the glass to create a dome on the seafloor that could then be filled with air for her to breathe. That way, she could live safely underwater, but still feel like she was living freely above ground. It was tricky working underwater, but in the end, I was able to get it to work. I think Sandy is going to love it. After telling Sandy I was done with her base, I hopped into the water and was suddenly attacked by a colossal squid.
Oh no, Zozo, let me help.
It's okay, I don't want you to get trapped underwater. I can take this guy. This squid was crazy strong. He hit hard, which was scary because I only had 5 hearts. I needed to do something, and fast. This is gonna hurt. I aimed for the squid's eye and landed a blow with my sword. That did the trick, and he was destroyed.
Nice going, Zozo. What's that?
I took a closer look and saw the giant squid had dropped something. This must have been trapped in his stomach. I went over and picked it up. Oh, awesome, it's a pile of sand. If I throw this at an enemy, it will cause them to have temporary blindness.
You know, this attack got me thinking. We need something to scare people and animals away from our base. I've got an idea, but I need to check some things first to see if it will work. Stay tuned.
On days 6 to 8, I was on the beach when I started feeling really hungry. Sheesh, it's been a while since I've had something to eat. I need to work on a food source. I decided that since my favorite food was meat, my best bet was to round up some different animals and keep them up on the shore. I set up a few different pens so I could keep all the animals I was going to collect in one place. With the pen set up, I made my way across the land and managed to find some sheep, some chickens, some pigs, and some cows. I led them all back towards the pen and got all of them locked up in their pens. As I was finishing up, I heard something in the distance. What's that sound? I looked towards the source of the sound. A couple of deer came running out of the trees.
You need to run! He's coming! He's coming!
You guys are talking animals. It must be the scientist. A moment later, I saw what was coming. It was the scientist. He was in a giant net firing machine. As the deer ran, he managed to capture them with a couple of leads. Oh no, I've got to help. I grabbed my pile of sand. Maybe this could help me. As I got closer to the scientist, he saw me.
You again. You're the one I want most of all.
He turned and started shooting at me. I tried throwing some sand at him as I made my way into the trees to try and throw him off.
Hey, where did you go?
The scientist drove through the trees looking for me, but couldn't see me hiding behind the tree. He seemed to be giving up.
Well, at least I can capture you two.
He was gonna leave with the deer. I had to stop him. I pulled out my pile of sand, then jumped next to the scientist. You didn't see this one coming. I threw the sand and got him right in the eyes.
Ah, what did you do? I can't see a thing.
The scientist kept trying to throw nets at me, but couldn't hit me. But in his rage, the deer had broken free. He was still too strong for me to fight, so I hurried and ran toward my base as the deer escaped into the forest. The scientist got way too close to my base. I better hide out for the night. On days 9 to 11, I returned back to my base to talk to Sandy. I told her everything that had happened with the scientist and that I had barely managed to escape.
It's okay, Zozo. We'll find a way to beat him and save everyone.
I don't know, I just feel like he's so much stronger than us, and he keeps making new upgraded weapons. Weapons we couldn't even beat in the first place.
If we don't have hope, what do we have? Giving up isn't going to solve the problem, so we have to keep fighting.
I suppose you're right. By the way, what was your idea for scaring enemies away from our base? That seems like just the thing we need right now.
Oh yeah, I just finished gathering everything I needed for the first part. Come give me a hand.
Sandy and I headed out and got to work. Sandy said she had spent the day getting supplies, and using those supplies, we'd be able to build a huge, terrifying statue. She wanted it to be a surprise though, so she didn't tell me what we were building, just where I needed to put the blocks. After a while, we had finished the first part. This is looking great, I think. Can you tell what it is? After a lot of building, Sandy and I were starting to feel pretty hungry, so Sandy suggested we build a farm. We got working on it right away. I had collected the animals for a food source, but since Sandy was a squirrel, she didn't eat meat. By the time we had finished building, Sandy's hunger was getting dangerously low.
Hurry and plant the crops. I don't think I should risk moving too much. My hunger bar is getting really low.
Oh no, I only got enough plants to lure the animals into their pens. I'll go get some for you.
It's okay, but please hurry.
On days 12 to 13, I was exploring the land looking for seeds when I came across a small farm. A garden. This will have just what Sandy needs. But who lives here? Next to the garden was a small hut, so I went to knock on the door. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I just took a little bit of their crops. But to my surprise, the door opened and a scientist was standing in the door. Oh no, another scientist! I gotta get out of here! I turned to run when the scientist called out to me.
Whoa there, hang on, little fella. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I stopped running and turned cautiously toward her. How do I know you're not going to hurt me?
I guess you don't, but I can tell by your face that you really need these crops. Come on in and let's talk. I think I can actually be of more help than you think.
She was right. Sandy's hunger levels were too low for me to risk wasting time looking for another food source. I headed inside the hut. So you have something that can help me?
I do. Information. I think it's important that you understand who that scientist is. That way you can defeat him.
Alright, I'm listening. Who is this guy?
The scientist used to be a coworker of mine. We spent years working on potions and inventions that would improve the lives of the animals around us. In our studies, we had discovered some animals possessed special abilities. Most of the time it was that they could talk, but every so often, one would come along that was capable of even greater power. One day though, his wife disappeared, sending him into a spiral. He was on a path I couldn't follow, so I ran away. The scientist blamed the animals for what had happened to his wife, and he became obsessed with harvesting them and using their power to build a super weapon, one that would give him ultimate control over everyone. Any animals he extracts power from die in the process. He is powerful for sure, but one of the rare animals, one that possesses extraordinary abilities, can stop him. Zozo, you are one of those animals.
Me? I don't have any special abilities. I can hardly win any fights, and the last time I met up with the scientist, I barely made it out alive. There's no way you could be right about that.
I know it, Zozo, I do. You might not see it now, but I'm sure one day you will. I'm standing by and I'm ready to help how I can. Hang on to this radio and give me a call if you ever need help.
I picked up the radio, then she led me outside to the garden.
And here, you can take some peanuts for my garden.
I harvested some plants and peanuts, then left to head back to the base. Special powers? Maybe she knew something I didn't, but right now it just didn't make any sense. From days 14 to 15, I was making my way back to the base when I heard a familiar but terrifying sound above me. I looked up and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Oh no, it's that bird again, and this time it has some of its babies with it. I didn't want to be their breakfast before, and I didn't want to now. I still had a little bit of sand left over from my fight with the scientist. Maybe it could help me win here. Come and get it! The bird let out a screech, but I was ready. I took my pile of sand and threw it right in its eyes. The bird let out another yell and landed not too far away. Here, I've got some breakfast for you. I took my sword and quickly started to attack the bird. Since it was on the ground, it had no chance, and I was able to knock it out. That was one down, but I still had to deal with the kids. And now I was all out of sand. Come on down, kids, I've got some leftovers for you. The baby birds shrieked and dove down as well. They weren't nearly as strong or clever as the big bird, and so one by one, they flew straight into my swinging blade, taking them down for good. Flying is overrated. Swimming is the way to go. Suddenly, I felt energy beginning to course through my veins, and I evolved into a bigger Godzilla. Check it out, I even have 10 hearts. I was feeling much stronger than before, and found out that my roar could hurt enemies. My tail had become a weapon of its own too. On days 16 through 19, I made it back to the base and was grateful to see that Sandy was still alive. I gave her something to eat and then headed into the farm to plant the seeds so she'd have a renewable source of food as well. Just as I was finishing up, Sandy came running into the room.
Zozo, come quick. I need your help.
Sandy led me to another part of the base where she had started mining down into the earth.
While you were planting the farm, I went ahead and started working on a mine. I had mined into a cave system where there was some iron, but something attacked me. I didn't get a good look at what it was, but I was wondering if you could go check it out.
Sure thing, Sandy. I'll see what I can find. I headed down into the tunnel and soon emerged in the cave. I could see the iron Sandy had mentioned and walked over to it. Just then, a group of drowned attacked. Oof, these guys. This is a good chance to put my new abilities to the test. I quickly swung my tail and knocked them away from me. With them backed off, I then hit them with my roar attack, which hurt them from afar. Oh, sorry. Were you guys going somewhere? I then hopped in with my sword and started slashing away. I continued to use my new abilities in combination with my sword and was able to defeat them in no time. Well, with those guys out of the way, I might as well grab this iron. I then took out my pick and mined out all the iron I could find. With all the iron collected, I made my way back up to the base where I smelted down all of the iron and then used it to make a full set of iron armor and tools. On days 20 to 22, I was woken up by the sound of a crackle on my radio. I tuned the frequency to get a clearer sound.
Zozo, do you copy? Zozo, do you read me?
Hey, yes, I'm here. What's going on?
The mad scientist is heading your way. You're in danger.
Oh, no, it's okay. My whole base is underwater. He's not going to be able to reach me here.
You don't understand. He built a mech suit that will let him access your base. You need to get out of there, now.
I hurried out of my base and swam up to the surface. I couldn't risk him getting into the base and hurting Sandy. I made my way to the beach. Maybe I could cut him off here. Just then, I saw the scientist approaching. The old woman was right. He was in an aquatic mech suit. I'm stronger now. I think I can take him. Soon, the scientist was before me.
Oh, someone's been eating their veggies. You're even more valuable to me now.
This has to stop. You're killing innocent animals.
Oh, boo-hoo. You don't even know what you are. You have a power inside of you just waiting to burst out, and I'm gonna get it.
The scientist revved his suit and fired a laser at me. I ran into the water to get some space between us. Before he could get me again, though, I let out a roar, which hurt him. I jumped closer and hit him with my tail, which seemed to put a dent in his machine. He didn't stay scared for long, though, and kept fighting back.
What is this power? Ooh, you're even stronger than you look.
He kept firing his laser beam at me, which really hurt. I had more health and armor than before, but I was taking some serious damage.
You can't win, Zozo. You're mine.
I rose up and swung with all my might, which caused his suit to start smoking. I swung again and again. I was winning.
Whoa, where's the strength coming from? I can't lose.
Before I could deliver the final blow, the scientist hit a button, ejecting him from his suit and launching him into the air.
This isn't over.
The scientist was gone for now, but if there was one thing I did learn, it's that the scientist isn't invincible. Next time we meet up, I'll be ready. On days 23 to 25, Sandy came and found me in my room. She suggested that we go search the wreckage of the scientist's machine. Maybe we'd find something. We headed up to the surface and took a look at where the scientist's machine had been destroyed. It looked like there was something in the wreckage. What's this? I picked it up and saw it was a stack of javelins. Oh, interesting. This will give me the chance to do some ranged attacks. I kept looking and saw that there was a notebook as well. I wonder what's inside. I picked it up and opened it up. If you were liking this video so far, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what adventure you think we should go on next. I don't know what that means. On days 26 to 29, Sandy and I headed back to the base to get some work done on the statue. I was pretty exhausted from the fight, so we thought this would be a good activity to take our minds off the conflict. It was coming along pretty well, I think. Can you tell what it is yet? We stopped working as Sandy explained to me that we were going to need some amber blocks and warped stems to get more work done. She suggested I head to a nearby island, as she heard I might be able to find some there. I'm on it. I leapt into the water and started swimming off in the direction Sandy had mentioned. In my bigger form, swimming was much faster than before. As I approached the island, I noticed something was already here. I reached the shore and saw it was infested with green snakes. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna squeeze by and grab what I need. Thanks. I made my way over to the blocks I needed and started mining them out. I was able to grab a bunch of them when I was suddenly attacked by the snakes. Guys, I just needed a little bit. These guys weren't talkers though, and they started fighting and snapping at me with their fangs. Hey, that hurts, knock it off. I smacked some of them away and then used some of the new javelins I had just gotten to keep them at a distance. By this combo, I managed to take them all out. Alrighty, back to business. I had gotten all of the blocks I needed, so I jumped back into the water to head home. On days 30 to 35, I was heading back to my base when I was suddenly attacked by a shark. Whoa, get out of here, you man-eater. The shark had a powerful bite, and it was doing a lot of damage, but he didn't know who he was messing with. Let's see how you like this. As the shark lined up to charge me, I pulled out my javelins and speared him. Turns out he didn't like it at all. He was hurt, but lined up to charge at me again. Suddenly, he turned and swam off in the other direction. Yeah, that's what I thought. You better run. I turned to keep swimming, but saw what made the shark swim off. There was a huge whale right behind me. Oh boy, please don't eat me.
me?
Eat you? You don't look very good to eat.
Oh, you talk. In that case, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Say, I've been watching you fight. You're one brave guy. Do you think you could help me? This evil scientist captured my baby, and I need someone to rescue her.
Oh yeah, I'm well acquainted with this scientist. Do you know where she's being held? I'll do anything to stop that guy.
There's a holding pen not too far from here. I would go there myself, but my lack of arms stopped me from breaking through anything. It's actually pretty inconvenient.
Don't you worry, I'll get there as fast as I can. On days 36 to 40, I made my way to the holding pen. After a bit of swimming, I could see the enclosure. This must be it. I snuck in a little closer and could see that the holding pen was attached to what looked like a small base. There were several guards on the outside. Well, I'd like to avoid confronting them directly if possible. Let me see if I can get in contact with the baby whale. I hopped back into the water and swam over to the pen. I could see the baby whale inside. Hey there, little one. Your dad sent me to rescue you.
I'm so happy to see you. I don't know how much time I have. There used to be a lot more animals in here with me, but one by one, they were taken away and haven't come back. We're the only ones left.
Okay, hang on for as long as you can. I noticed there were a lot of guards out there, and I don't want to risk fighting all of them. Do you know if there's another way in?
I think there might be a water duct you can break into that leads into the enclosure. If you dig into the side of the hill on the east side of the base, you should hit it. Or was it the north side? I can't remember.
It's okay. I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll start digging and I'll see you soon. From days 41 to 43, I worked on digging my tunnel through the base. I feel like this is going great. I've got to be getting close. I think she was saying I need to start digging up right about now. I changed direction and started heading up. This was kind of a nice change to not be attacked head on. I felt like a proper secret agent. Suddenly, I burst through the surface and saw I was right in the middle of their base. Uh-oh, looks like I'm not a very good secret agent. I jumped out of the hole and the guards swarmed in and started to attack. There were more guys in here than I thought. They had caught me off guard and were really starting to take down my health. Oh, there's so many of them. But I still had my special moves. I let out a roar and was able to hurt some of the bad guys. I quickly started swinging my tail and hitting back. One by one, I was starting to take them out. There were so many of them, but I was a one monster wrecking machine. Maybe I do make a better action star than secret agent. Eventually, I was able to gain the upper hand and the entire base was clear. In one of the rooms, I saw a control panel with a couple of switches on it. I went ahead and flipped them. This must be controlling the gate. All right, let's go save those animals. I made my way out of the main base and headed toward the holding tank. I went around to the exit to make sure the whale got out safely. Go on and be free, my friend. Just then, the big whale dad from before came swimming up as his daughter swam over to him.
Thank you, Zozo. I was afraid I would never see my daughter again. If you are ever in need of help, I will do everything I can to be there for you.
On days 44 to 49, I had arrived back at my base. I had nearly forgotten I had collected materials for my statue, so Sandy and I had gotten right to work building the next part. I think I'm starting to see what it's supposed to be. What about you? Next, I got to work building some guard towers above my base. If my run-ins with the scientists thus far had taught me anything, it was that I needed to be prepared for any kind of attack. Once the towers were complete, I decided to give them a test. That night, I lured some mobs into the area and led them right into my trap. The defenses worked perfectly. The scientist is going to be in for a nasty surprise if he tries to break in here. On days 50 to 53, I woke up to the sound of a crackle on the radio. It was another warning call that the scientist was coming. Again, good thing we laid those traps. He's not going to be able to get in this time. I swam to the top of the base to get a better look and saw it wasn't just the scientist attacking this time. He was standing in a helicopter with a squadron of robot sharks in the water.
I might not be able to swim in, but my elite shark squad can. Alpha team, attack!
The sharks immediately jumped into action. They were headed right for the base. I braced myself for a fight. The first few sharks got caught in the crossfire of my guard towers, which quickly took them out. Nice! Those worked perfectly. The next few sharks were much luckier though, and I was going to have to take them on myself. The sharks were putting up a good fight, but they were no match for my claws and sword. I also used my roar and spin attack, cutting through them bit by bit. With all of my attacks, I was able to rip through them and quickly took them out. Ha! This guy must be running out of ideas. Suddenly, I heard an explosion and saw some other robot sharks had blown a hole in Sandy's dome. A shark swam in, tied her up, and pulled her away.
Zozo, help!
They were taking Sandy. In my anger, my blood started to boil, and I could feel a rush of energy. Suddenly, I grew in size and leveled up. The scientist had gotten his hands on the rope and pulled Sandy into the helicopter. I started making my way toward them, but the scientist took out a rocket launcher, blowing up one of the towers.
Say goodbye to your little friend.
The scientist fired up his engine and flew off with Sandy. I was so mad. There were a couple of robot sharks nearby, and in my rage, I opened my mouth and shot out a stream of fire. This must be one of my new abilities. The fire destroyed them almost immediately. I've got to get Sandy back. On days 54 to 57, I was in the depths of despair. First things first though, I started to make repairs to the base. I couldn't believe I didn't protect Sandy from the scientist. She trusted me and I let her down. And I had no idea where the scientist's main base was. Then I had an idea. I headed over to the radio. Hey, are you there? Sandy was captured by the scientist, and I really need your help.
Zozo, I was just about to contact you. We have something to discuss, but I think it's best done in person.
I'll be there soon. I departed my base and headed to the old woman's house. When I arrived, she was waiting for me outside.
Zozo, thank you for coming.
Of course, what's going on?
I lied to you earlier. The scientist's wife, she didn't die. I'm his wife.
What? Why didn't you say so before?
I was afraid the truth would be too much for you and make you refuse to work with me.
So why are you telling me now? How can I know anything you've told me is true?
Everything else I have told you is true, but there is more to the story. My husband was a brilliant man, but we were under pressure to deliver our findings by a corrupt mayor of the nearby city. We were his prisoners, and the experience turned my husband to madness. I believe there is still good in him.
So what are you suggesting?
I know you must hate him, but please don't hurt him. I think he can come back to the light.
No promises, but I'll see what I can do. Rescuing Sandy is my #1 priority. She thanked me and told me the location to the scientist's base. It wasn't going to be easy to infiltrate, so I needed to head back to my base to prepare. On days 58 to 62, I returned back to my base and headed into the mine. I was still using subpar gear and was hoping to find some diamonds. I was still sad about Sandy being gone, but I needed to stay focused. After a bit of exploring, I soon saw diamonds. Just what I was looking for. I mined all of the diamonds I needed, but as I went further into the cave, there was some lava blocking my path. Just then, I heard a roar behind me and saw a black bear had me cornered, but I wasn't worried. Impressive, but I can roar too. I opened my mouth and fired my fire breath at him. He didn't like that at all and attacked. I can go claw to claw with you, no problem. The bear swiped at me as I fought back. He was strong, but he didn't know what he was getting himself into. We exchanged blows as I shot him with my fire breath. After a bit, I took him out with ease. With my pockets full of diamonds, I headed back up into the base and got to work crafting. In no time, I had crafted myself a full set of diamond armor and equipped it. I'd like to see anyone try and pierce this armor. On days 63 to 66, I got back to work on the statue. Sandy wasn't around to tell me what we were building, but I felt like I had a good idea of where we were going with it. I would have loved to finish it, but it didn't feel right to do it without Sandy, so I decided to wait a little bit longer so we could finish it together. I'm all ready to go, but before I do, I'm told there's a red sub button you can press. The more subs we have in our navy, the stronger we'll be. On days 67 to 70, I left my base and traveled across the land toward the scientist's headquarters. After a while, I saw some buildings beginning to appear on the horizon. That must be it. I had no idea there was such a large city nearby. As I got closer to the base, I saw it was well protected, with guards positioned all over the outside of the base. It didn't matter though. I was angry, and no one was going to keep me out. Sandy, I'm coming for ya! I ran up to the guards and started to attack, as the guards took aim and started to fire. These guys were elite troops, and I could feel the strength of their shots, but so far, my armor was holding up. Where's the scientist? The guards didn't seem interested in my questions and kept attacking. I was making my way through the guards, using every attack in my arsenal. The place was starting to catch fire, but soon enough, I cleared out all of the guards. Time to get in there and see what's going on. On days 71 to 74, I entered further into the base, attacking more guards along the way. There were a bunch of them stationed in the lobby, but as much as they tried to take me down, they stood no chance against my flurry of attacks. Once they were all destroyed, I entered the next room, which was full of animals in cages. Don't worry guys, I'll get you out. I quickly attacked all of the guards in the room. They really didn't seem to appreciate my fire breath. Soon enough, I had taken them all out. I then headed over to the wall and pressed a button, which released them all from their cages. Be free, my friends. Just then, I saw a bear had started attacking another animal. That's when I noticed he was a robot bear. Oh no! I quickly ran over and started fighting him, taking him out as quick as I could. But there were some robot ducks that had started attacking me too. How could the scientists do this to the animals? I managed to fight them all off too. I've got to find Sandy, and quick! I headed into another room and saw a few more animals in cages. I was careful to check and be sure they weren't robots before breaking them out. I took out some more guards and then saw a strange object floating over a block. What could this be? I stepped closer and picked it up. It was a new whirlwind attack. Oh cool, I can't wait to test this out. Just then, another group of robot animals appeared, and I was shocked by who was leading them. Sandy, what have they done to you? The group of animals attacked, including Sandy. It was no use. It wasn't the Sandy I knew and loved. She had been experimented on and turned into a robot. I focused on fighting off the other animals, but I couldn't bring myself to fight Sandy. I was able to take a few of them out, but what was I gonna do about Sandy? Sandy, it's me! I was so distracted trying to run away, I didn't notice that more guards had come into the room. They immediately started to attack me. This was a fight I couldn't win. They cornered me against a wall and then shot me with a tranquilizer dart, putting me to sleep. On day 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage. I've got to get out of here. I looked for my pickaxe, but they must have taken it from me. There was no way for me to break myself out.
Going somewhere? I made this cage especially for you. You'll never be able to break out.
You can do whatever you want. Just let Sandy go. As I said this, I noticed that Sandy turned and looked at me.
Ooh, do you feel sad for your friend? Boo-hoo. I'll tell you what, maybe I won't destroy you. Maybe I'll just turn you into a robot, just like her. Then you can play with your little friend all day. day.
You're gonna pay for this. It doesn't matter what you do. Good always triumphs over evil. As I said this, Sandy started to shake, and her circuit started to make a crackling noise.
Zozo.
The scientist turned and looked at her.
What? She's overpowering the mind control.
Suddenly, Sandy ran over to the cage release and hit the button, freeing me from my cage. You're in for it now.
Oh no!
The scientist ran out of the room. Before I chased after him, though, I took a look at Sandy.
Go, Zozo. The mind control is taking back over. I don't want to fight.
Without wasting another moment, I took off after the scientist. He hadn't gotten very far, as he had just run into the other room. But that's because he managed to get himself into a fancy mech suit.
Enough games. I'm going to end this now.
The scientist attacked. His weapon was way stronger than I was expecting, but I was way stronger than even he knew. I hit him with everything I had. I used my weapons, swung my tail, and shot him with my fire breath.
So much strength. You would make me invincible.
The scientist fought right back, using every method he could to make sure I really felt it. He fired his weapons and was able to move quickly around the room. At one point, I was down to just a few hearts.
Time to say goodbye.
Just then, I noticed he was standing next to some TNT. Goodbye. I shot my fire breath and hit the TNT, which knocked him out of his suit. He slumped down against the wall.
No, I must complete my mission.
Just then, I noticed a control panel on the other side of the room, labeled Mind Control. This can free Sandy. I hurried over to the switch and flipped it. To my surprise, I heard a crackling sound and saw it was coming from the scientist. He had been under mind control.
Zozo, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Who did this to you?
It was the mayor. He told me he would destroy my wife if I didn't keep working for him. I refused, but he did this to me and forced me to comply. I'm just glad she got away.
It's not too late. I can get you a health potion or something.
No, it is too late for me. I'm allergic to potions. I know, it's really inconvenient. Tell my wife I'm sorry.
He put his head down and was gone. I'll tell her. I'm sorry things couldn't have been different. I'll find the evil mayor and make things right. On day 79 to 84, I headed back to the other room to find Sandy. I was on my way back when she found me.
Zozo, my mind has been freed. You must have defeated the scientist.
I explained to Sandy everything that had happened, including that the scientist wasn't really the bad guy. It was the mayor this whole time.
Oh no. Well, let's take a look around here. The scientist was working on a weapon. We better find it and destroy it.
Sandy and I took off, taking a look around the base. I noticed that the base was empty now. The guards must have been under mind control too. As we walked into one of the rooms, we saw a strange glowing object floating on a platform. Sandy picked it up and set it down in front of me so I could take a closer look too. It doesn't look like a weapon, but it definitely looks like something powerful. What do you think, Sandy? But before Sandy can answer, a man in a suit came strolling into the room, stopping in front of the glowing object. This had to be the mayor.
Yeah, you two certainly tried, but I'm sorry to tell you, you failed. That nerd had pretty much finished the weapon, and there's nothing you losers can do about it. The people of this city tried to kick me out of my job, but I'll show them who the top dog is.
The mayor picked up the glowing weapon. There was a blinding light, and as the light faded, we could see he had turned into a Mecha Godzilla. He was as big as a building.
Ha ha ha, good luck stopping me now.
The mayor turned and headed toward the city, breaking everything in his path. Suddenly, he began shooting lasers out of his eyes as he smashed the buildings.
This is what happens to those who dare oppose me. You citizens can cower in your buildings all you want. I will find you and I will destroy this entire city.
Come on, Sandy, let's get out of here. He's way too strong. He'll crush us. On days 85 to 89, Sandy and I arrived back at our base. It was good to have her back home, but I was still feeling like a failure. I feel like I can't do anything right. I couldn't save the scientist, and the mayor got his hands on the weapon. Now thousands of people are going to die.
You can't be so hard on yourself, Zozo. The fight isn't over. It's not much, but they should help. I stole them from the lab.
Sandy tossed out a few bars of netherite. Thanks, Sandy. I can max out my gear with this. And you know what? Now that you're back, we should finish our statue. It only feels right. I made a quick stop at an anvil and used it to upgrade all my gear to netherite. It made me feel a little bit better knowing I would be fully protected. I then met Sandy out at the statue and we got to work finishing it up. Doing so was helping me come out of my slump. I still didn't know how we could defeat the mayor, but my confidence was increasing. There was just one more thing I had to do. But before moving to that, we finished the statue. So what do you think? Did you guess what it was? No sailor's gonna feel safe coming near our base with this. Next up, I headed off to the old woman's house. Unfortunately, I only had the bad news of her husband's death to share with her. She greeted me outside.
I can tell by your face you have bad news for me. It's okay. I'm sure you did your best.
I think it's important that you know the truth. Your husband was forced to do all this work after being put under mind control by the mayor. In his final moments, he was himself and wanted me to tell you he was sorry. I I could see that there were tears in her eyes.
Thank you for coming and telling me. I should have known that mayor was behind everything.
I explained to her the situation and how the mayor was currently on a rampage in the city. The mention of that seemed to shock her.
He used it? While you have been gone, I've been researching why my husband was so focused on capturing you. I couldn't quite figure it out, but I'm positive that the weapon wouldn't have been safe for someone to use without your power added to it.
Well, it certainly seemed to work just fine, regardless of any power I have. He seems to be pretty strong himself. Just then, she perked up with an idea.
You know, if there's one thing I knew about my husband, it's that he was incredibly thorough in his work. He never completed a project without having a backup.
But Sandy and I searched all over the base and didn't see anything like what we found.
Is there another lab somewhere out there?
Just then, I remembered the other pen where the baby whale was being kept. There could be something there. On days 90 to 94, I arrived back at the pen where the baby whale had been kept captive. The base was completely empty now, except that it had been overrun by charged creepers. Oh, stay away from me! I managed to fight through the mobs and make my way into the base. Inside the base, there were some skeletons, and they started firing their bows at me. Get your airheads out of here. I managed to hit them with fire breath and fight through them. As I searched the base, I had to keep fighting my way through the mobs. After I had destroyed them, I noticed there was a switch hiding behind one of the columns. What does this do? I flipped the switch, and a secret door opened up. I got closer to see what was hanging on the wall. There it is, a backup of the weapon. I stepped forward and picked it up, taking special care not to activate it. I better hurry and get this back to my base. On days 95 to 96, I returned back to my base and met up with Sandy. Sandy, I found the backup of the weapon. What do you think we should do with it?
Oh wow, nice work. I think it's clear, don't you?
I agree. You should take it. You'll be the biggest squirrel the world has ever seen.
Well, I'm sure everyone would want to see that. You know it has to be you. Everything you have done has led you to this moment. You were made to save the city.
Well, I can certainly try my best. I wish we knew more about this, though. So many animals had to die for this to be made.
And so many more animals and people will die if the mayor isn't stopped. They'd want their sacrifice to be for someone who would save others, not hurt them.
I nodded. Sandy always knew just what to say.
And here, I managed to catch something that will help you.
Sandy tossed out several enchanted books. These will be perfect. Thanks, Sandy. I grabbed the books and headed over to the anvil. By using all of the books, I was able to give my weapons and armor some impressive upgrades. I couldn't have been more powered up. It's time to end this. On days 97 to 98, Sandy and I swam back up to the shore near our base. This is it, the final battle. If I don't win here, that's it for me. If you've been enjoying the journey so far, let me know by giving me a like and a sub. I promise to always fight my hardest to win. With that said, Sandy and I headed in the direction of the city. The mayor wasn't going to see this coming. On day 99, we ran up to the outskirts of the city. In the distance, we could see the mayor standing amongst the buildings. So much destruction. I can see now that the mayor has lost control of his own mind. Seeing him like that scared me. Is that going to happen to me too?
Do you remember what happened when you were fighting the scientist? The power of our friendship pulled me out of the mind control. This is the same tech. I won't let anything happen to you.
I trust you, Sandy. Let's finish what we started. I moved into the city and got as close as I could get to the mayor without putting myself in danger. Hey, mayor! Why don't you pick on someone your own size? The mayor turned to look at me. I pulled out the secret weapon and activated it. There was a flash of light and I started to grow. It felt strange, but I could feel the power coursing through me. I couldn't help but feel like this was part of my destiny all along.
How is this possible? That scientist, you betrayed me.
I waited for the madness to take over, but nothing happened. Just then, it clicked. The scientist needed my power to stabilize the mind of the weapon's user, but since I was the user, all it did was power me up. Your reign of terror is over. The people of this city deserve better. The mayor and I charged at each other, exchanging blows. The mayor was strong, but with my new power, I had never felt better.
You think this makes you special? You can't save anyone. You couldn't save the scientist, let alone an entire city.
His words hurt, but I knew the scientist would have wanted me to stop this mayor. If not for you, no one would have needed to be saved. No one would have ever gotten hurt. The scientist saw you for who you really were, a fraud. This made the mayor even more mad, and he unleashed a flurry of attacks, which nearly took down all of my health. I had to finish this. I took one big final breath and unleashed the most powerful fire blast I had ever created.
No!
The mayor crumbled to the ground and disappeared. I rushed back over to Sandy.
Zozo, you did it. Let's go home.
On day 100, we returned back to the base. I was too big to fit in the base, but Sandy said she was going to keep living there anyway. I had gotten used to living in the water, so I swam back down into the sea. If the people of the city ever needed me again, they'd know just where to find me. On day 1, I spawned in as a witch. I'm so small, but it looks like I'm a witch. I only have 4 hearts. I better be careful while I figure out where I am and what's going on. I looked around the forest where I spawned in. Hello? Any other witches around? Where are my witches at? But there was no one around, just the tall trees. I was so busy looking up at the tall trees, I didn't see a man appear from behind one. He was huge, and he looked angry.
I've got you now, evil witch. You won't attack my village.
Why is he calling me evil? I don't feel evil, but I am a witch, and usually witches are bad. I was confused confused, but I didn't have time to figure out my confusion. The man was rushing at me with a sword. I started darting between the trees, trying to get away from him. Maybe I could climb a tree and get away. I quickly made it higher than the man. I thought I was in the clear until I ran into a beehive. Bees swarmed out of the hive and flew right at me. Oh no, they think I'm attacking them. Bees, I don't want to hurt you. Don't attack me. They didn't listen. I had to escape before they stung me to death. I quickly looked around and realized the tree I was in was right next to a lake. Bees won't follow me into the water. I have to dive in. I dove into the water and the bees stayed out. They knew better than to try and follow me in. The man was still waiting on the shore though.
Evil witch, I see you in the water there. I don't have a boat with me, but I'm coming back with one and I'll get you.
The man was waving his sword at me from the edge of the lake. There was no way I could swim to shore, but I saw a tiny island in the middle of the lake. I have to get to that island. It's my only hope of safety. I swam to the island and crawled out of the water. I was exhausted. The island was quiet and I didn't see any creatures. I saw a tree with an opening into the trunk. I crawled in. What a rough first day. I have to get more powerful if I'm going to make it in this place. Wherever I am. I fell asleep immediately. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out of my tree hole. It's quiet here. Maybe I can take some time to figure out why that man called me an evil witch. I don't feel evil. I thought about it for a while. I realized it made sense that he called me evil because witches are always evil. So why do I feel good? Is it possible that I spawned as a good witch? It seemed crazy, but it also felt true. I felt better after figuring this out, but then I realized I had a big problem. All the good people are going to think I'm evil because I'm a witch, but I can't go to other witches for help because they'll know I'm good. What am I going to do? I felt hopeless for a moment, but that was a waste of time. First, I need a safe place to live. Second, I need to protect myself and prepare in case I have to fight.
Oh, I don't know if I can help you with the fighting part, but why don't you live right here?
I looked around, trying to figure out who was talking.
Look down, silly.
I looked down and saw a frog sitting on a rock on the edge of the lake.
Hi there. I can tell you that this island is a safe place to stay. You can live in that tree you slept in. The only thing is...
Before the frog could finish talking, I felt something land on my head. Ah, a spider is on my head!
No, don't attack it!
The frog's warning came too late. I had made the spider angry. It rushed at me to attack. How was I going to defend myself?
Grab the potion behind you.
I spun around and saw a small bottle on the ground. I had no idea what it was.
Throw it at the spider, quick!
Threw the potion at the spider and took it out. Thanks, buddy. I need to know a lot more about potions and what I can do as a witch, but right now, I need to rest.
Go ahead. I was going to tell you that the spider was the only thing to watch out for, but you got it. You should be safe, but I'll keep an eye out.
On day 3, I needed to learn more about potions, since they seemed like a pretty great weapon to use, especially for a witch. I walked back to the shore and found my frog friend. He was sitting on his lily pad. Thanks again for your help, buddy. Can you tell me more about potions?
I don't know much about potions. I'm just a frog.
Then how did you know I should grab one and throw it?
Because another witch used to live on this island, and I watched her a lot. She never noticed me, though. Look around. I think she left a lot of stuff here when she left.
I decided to explore the island and see if the frog was right. I walked towards the middle of the island, into the trees. In the middle of the trees, I found a big, magical-looking purple tree and what looked like a rundown house. I wonder if this is where the witch lived. I decided to go inside and explore some more. I walked in. Suddenly, a bat flew at my face. I was about to fight back when I realized it wasn't squeaking. It was talking.
Get out of my master's house. You don't belong here.
Sorry, I was just exploring and trying to figure out how to be a witch. I'm really new to this. My name is Zozo.
Oh my gosh, you're a witch too. Hi, Zozo. I didn't even realize. I thought you were that crazy guy coming back to destroy everything.
Oh yeah, that must be the same guy who attacked me as soon as I spawned. What's the deal with him?
He's a villager who lives on the other side of the lake. He's always been weird, but a few years ago his son disappeared and he became convinced that a witch took him. Now he's hunting down and hurting every supernatural creature he can find.
What's a supernatural creature?
It's basically any creature that has magical or weird powers. Witches, zombies, you get the idea.
But aren't all those creatures bad anyway?
No, that's just a myth. Most of them are bad, but there are some good ones too. I mean, look at you. I can tell you're not evil.
I wanted to keep talking to the bat about good and evil creatures, but it was getting late and I hadn't found any potions or anything else to defend myself. Hey Bat, thanks for the info, but it's getting late and I should get back to my shelter.
Why don't you just sleep here?
Well, the house is kind of falling apart. There's no roof, walls.
Yeah, but you'll be safe here. The witch who lived here before cast a spell on this spot.
Okay, sounds good to me. Tomorrow I can start rebuilding the house. On days 4 to 5, I found an old stone axe outside stuck in a tree. It was in bad shape, but it'd do. It broke when I was on the second tree, but I had gotten all the wood I needed. I worked on rebuilding the witch's house so that I would have a sturdier shelter and made good progress. Then I realized I hadn't eaten anything since I got here, and I was running out of energy. Hey Bat, do you have a name?
The witch always called me Batty.
Okay, Batty, do you know where I can find food around here?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The witch always had to leave the island to find enough food. She had a boat, but she took it with her when she left.
Alright, I guess I'll have to swim across to find food.
Here, take a couple of potions with you. The witch left some behind, and you might
might need them until you learn how to make your own.
I wasn't worried because I already knew I was a strong swimmer. I walked back to the shore and got ready to swim.
Are you going to swim across the lake?
My frog friend was back. Yep, that's the plan. I need to find food, and Batty told me there's none here for me.
Batty is right, but are you sure swimming across is a good idea? Crazy Man is out there, and he said he would come back with a boat.
The frog had a good point, but I really didn't have a choice. I had to find food fast, and building a boat would take too much time. I jumped into the lake and started swimming. On day 6 to 8, I was swimming across the lake. It was a long distance, but I had to find food.
I told you I would be back, evil witch. I'll get you now.
Oh no, the crazy guy is back, and he has a boat. The crazy guy was coming right at me, and his boat was fast. I knew I couldn't let him get close enough to use his sword on me. I haven't had a chance to craft any weapons yet, but I have to defend myself. What are these potions Batty gave me? I started treading water so I could get the potions out of my pocket. I pulled out one bottle. What does this say? Potion of harming. Sounds like what I need. I was so focused on the potions that I completely forgot I had stopped moving. But the crazy guy hadn't stopped. He was coming right at me.
You foolish witch. You're no match for me. Take that.
How could I have been so silly? I let the crazy guy get too close, and he hit me with his sword. Ouch, that hurt. He had really brought down my health, and I didn't have that much health to spare. Okay, here goes nothing. Watch out, crazy guy. It's potion time. I threw the potion right in his face.
Ah, the evil witch has used her terrible magic on me, but your silly potion is no match for my sword.
I wasn't going to last much longer if I didn't do something fast. I frantically grabbed another bottle out of my pocket. Exploding potion. I guess I know what this does. I threw the potion at the back of the boat, and the end just blew up. The boat started sinking. The crazy guy jumped out of his boat, but I didn't wait around to see what happened. I swam as fast as I could to shore. When I reached the shore, I was exhausted. I turned around and saw the crazy guy bobbing in the water, moving so slowly towards the shore. Does this guy even know how to swim? Doesn't look like it, which is good to keep in mind.
You can run now, evil witch, but you know I'll find you again, and next time, you won't be so lucky.
I ran into the forest. I was so tired, but my hunger bar was getting really low. I had to eat something now or I wouldn't be able to keep going. I wasn't looking where I was going, and I ran right into a tree with some apples. It's not much, but this should be enough food to keep me going until I find more. I ate the apples and felt better, but I was so tired. I decided to hide out for the night and keep searching for food in the morning. On days 9 to 10, I left the forest and walked into some fields. Are those farms? There must be food on farms. I ran toward the first farm I saw. The fields were full of vegetables. I grabbed as many carrots and potatoes as I could fit in my pockets.
Hey, who are you and why are you stealing my crops?
I looked up to see the farmer on his front porch, and he looked angry.
Hey, aren't you that evil witch my neighbor told me about? Get off my farm.
He grabbed a crossbow and started shooting arrows at me. Okay, I can take a hint. I'm getting out of here. I wasn't fast enough, and one of his arrows hit me. Oh no, I'm almost out of hearts. I realized there was one more potion for Batty that I hadn't used yet. I pulled it out of my pocket and read the label. Potion of healing. Sounds like what I need. I gulped down the potion and suddenly felt a ton of energy jolt through my body. I looked down at myself. I was bigger. I don't know what's in that potion, but it gave me 10 hearts, and I turned into a bigger witch. I feel so much stronger and faster. I was so fast that I was able to dodge the rest of the arrows the farmer was shooting at me.
I better not see you back on my farm, witch, and I'm gonna tell my neighbor I saw you. He's coming for you.
I kept running into the fields. On days 11 to 12, I was still running through the fields. I had so much energy. I saw mountains in the distance. How far had I gone? I better not get too far from the lake. I need to get back to base soon. As I got closer to the mountains, I decided it was time to turn around. I had grabbed enough food from the farmer to last a while. Then I noticed a little hut at the bottom of the mountain. Did someone live there? Someone came out of the hut. It was another witch. Aren't witches usually bad? I better run again.
Wait, come back. I want to help you.
I didn't know if I should believe her, but I felt strong enough to find out. If she was lying to me, I could run or fight.
Won't you come inside? You're the first good witch I've seen in so long, other than myself.
You're a good witch too?
Yes, come inside and I can explain everything.
I walked behind her into her hut. Inside, I saw shelves full of bottles, a large table, a huge cauldron with smoke coming out of it, and a door leading to another room.
It's so amazing to meet another good witch. It's been so long I worried I was the only one left. You see, good witches are incredibly rare. So much so that people don't even know or believe we exist. That means most people hunt us down and hurt us before ever finding out we're good and want to use our magic to help them.
Oh, that's a bummer, but at least I know I wasn't crazy for thinking I was a good witch.
You are good, I can tell. I want to teach you everything I know to help you survive.
The witch started to tell me about being a good witch. She told me about all the different types of potions I could brew and the materials I needed to brew them. She also explained about the different types of weapons I could build to defend myself and how to get food. Suddenly, we heard the sound of yelling in the distance.
Did someone follow you here? No one has ever come this close to my hideout until now.
Oh no, I stole some crops from a farmer and he got angry. He said his neighbor was hunting me. I think he was talking about this crazy guy who keeps trying to hurt me. They must have seen where I was heading.
The man hunting you isn't some crazy guy. He used to be a wonderful person. He was a successful trader, friendly to everyone. He had a son who came with him on all his trading missions. He was teaching his son the business. I knew him. You see, I didn't always live here. I used to live on a beautiful island with my bat friends.
Wait, you're the witch who used to live on the island? That's where my base is. Batty has been helping me.
Oh, I'm so glad my old home is helping someone. Patty is a good friend. I loved living there, but I was chased away. One day, the trader's son disappeared.
I know. He thinks a witch stole his son and now he's hunting all supernatural creatures. I've heard the story. I need to get out of here so your hideout stays a secret. The witch tossed out an item that looked like a bag for me and I grabbed it before running out the door.
But wait, you don't know the whole story.
I have to get out of here before they find you.
Come back when you can. I haven't told you the most important thing.
I took off running across the field and just hoped the farmer and the trader wouldn't follow me. On days 13 to 15, I kept running across the fields towards the forest. I knew I had to get back to base so I could start brewing potions and making weapons. As I was running, I realized there were little holes all around me. What is up with these holes? I better be careful so I don't step in one. A rabbit popped out of one of the holes and then another one. Pretty soon, the field was full of rabbits. Oh, aren't they so cute? I wish I could stop and pet them, but what are you doing? The rabbits were jumping up and biting me. Aren't you rabbits supposed to be nice? What are you all doing? Stop biting me. I really didn't want to hurt the rabbits because something didn't seem right, but I also couldn't let them keep biting me. Maybe there's something in this witch bag that can help me without hurting them. I pulled out a bottle. Potion of slowness. Sounds good. Sorry, rabbits, but something is wrong with you, and I don't know what it is. I threw the potion and ran. The rabbits were too slow to follow me. I wonder if this is what the witch was trying to tell me, that the animals are acting strangely. I reached the edge of the forest and ran in. Suddenly, a squirrel jumped on me and started biting me. What is going on with all these animals? Why are they attacking me? By that point, I had been bitten so many times that I was losing health. I saw more squirrels running through the trees after me, but I had reached the lake. I dove into the lake and the squirrels didn't follow me. I swam across the lake and made it back to base. On days 16 to 19, I had planned to start making potions and weapons, but I had forgotten that my house wasn't built. I guess my weapons will have to wait. I need to build my house for protection, especially with all these animals behaving so strangely. I might not be as safe here as I thought.
Hey, Zozo, you're back. What you doing?
Oh, hi, Batty. I need to build up my house, but there's hardly any wood or stone around here. Any suggestions on where to find materials?
Sure, go that way and you should find everything you need to get started.
I made a wooden pickaxe before I started heading in the direction Batty was pointing. It was part of the island I hadn't explored yet. Batty was right. There was an abandoned lumber mill, so I started grabbing as much wood as I could find. But I also needed to find stone. Batty said there would be everything I needed, so there must be stone somewhere. I came out of the other side of the trees and realized I had reached the lake again, but I hadn't explored this beach. Wow, there's tons of stone here. Batty was right. Most of the stone was closer to the water, so I walked down to start collecting it. A drowned came out of the water and towards me. I didn't have any weapons or anything with me, but I felt so much bigger and stronger. When the drowned got close, I just started punching. Take that! I'm sick of being attacked. Go away! The drowned backed off and went back into the water. I grabbed all of my materials and went back to the house. Now I was ready to get started making things. On days 20 to 22, it was time to cook up some potions and make some better tools and weapons. Let's see what good stuff she gave me. I used the bag item the witch had given me and saw that it filled my inventory with cobblestones, a blaze rod, glass bottles, and lots of things that looked like dust, creams, and more. There was also a small book. Good witch, here's what you need to get started brewing potions. First, you need to build your brewing stand. That's what the cobblestones and blaze rod are for. Once you've built that, take a glass bottle and some of the nether wart. Combine them and you'll have an awkward potion. The book had more pages, but I was excited to get started. I followed her instructions. Cool, a brewing stand. Alright, let's cook up some awkward potions. I got a little too excited and made a bunch of bottles. Once you have an awkward potion, you can take the different ingredients in my bag and add them to it. That's how you make different types of potions. I spent hours grabbing ingredients and combining them into potions. When I was almost out of glass bottles, I decided to take a break.
Wow, looks like you made a ton of potions. Good job, but you should probably also make a weapon.
Why? Look at all these great potions I have now.
Yeah, but what happens if you're attacked and run out of potions? You should have a weapon just in case, like a sword or an axe.
Alright, I guess I need to go back out for more materials to make a sword. I decided to go back to the beach where I found all the stone. Maybe there would be other materials there too. I walked over to the beach and started digging, but then I heard a noise. I looked up and there were 3 more drowns coming at me. Ugh, these guys again? And there's more of them. At least this time I remembered to bring some potions with me. Those drowns moved fast, and before I could grab a potion, they started attacking me. I finally found my potion and threw it, and they went away. Hey, looks like one of those weirdos dropped something. What is this thing? I picked up what looked like a giant fork. It looked sharp, so I thought it could be a weapon. I decided to stop searching and bring it back to Batty.
Whoa, Zozo, you found a trident. Did a drowned drop it? Those are so rare. Cool.
I decided to take my new weapon and walk down to the other beach to see if my frog friend was around. When I got there, I heard a strange noise noise coming from above me. I looked up.
You may have destroyed my boat, but I'm back and ready to destroy you, evil witch. Just try throwing your potions up here.
It was the crazy trader again, and this time he was wearing a crazy outfit that looked like armor, flying right above me, getting ready to swoop down with his sword. The way he was moving around, I knew it would be hard to hit him with a potion.
Throw your trident!
That sounded like my frog friend.
How did you get a trident, evil witch? Do you even know what to do with it?
I didn't have time to look around. I just aimed and threw the trident as hard as I could. My trident was a direct hit, and as it dropped back down, I caught it.
Ouch, that hurt. Hey, you dented my armor. How did you get so strong?
I threw my trident again, and pieces of his armor started falling.
No, you're destroying my armor. How could I have known you had a trident?
I knew that with one more hit I could take him down, but he knew it too.
You may have won this battle, witch, but I'll still win the war.
He flew away, and I felt confident I could beat him next time. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the base and decided to go inside and check on Batty.
What happened? You look like you were in a fight.
Yeah, that crazy guy came back again. This time he was flying and he had armor, but I fought him off with my trident.
That's a relief. You should probably prepare in case he comes back.
He was right. I needed to make this place more secure. My house was nice, but I needed something bigger and stronger. I decided to build a fortress around my house. Batty had helped me out by bringing a huge pile of wood. I started building up the walls, working as fast as I could. Eventually, the walls rose up around my house, and it was starting to look like a fortress. But there was something else missing too. This island needed some decoration. I've got it. I'll build a nice big statue. That'll liven the place up. I got to work on the statue. I didn't have much in the way of materials, but I at least made a good start. I know it's not much to look at yet, but do you have any guesses what it will be? Suddenly, Batty flew up to me.
Hey, you know you didn't finish going through the witch bag. You should see what else is in there.
I reached into the bag and pulled out what looked like a diary. It had a lock on it, but the lock fell open when I touched it. I guess it was a witch thing. I opened the diary and read the first page. The Good Witch Diary, top secret. But if you are liking the video, make sure you search for other videos. Just search for ZOZO and see the other great adventures Zozo has been on. On days 27 to 31, I wanted to make sure we had enough food. In a perfect world, I could get some animals, but my base was on an island, and I had no idea how I could get animals there. Well, the easiest way to get food here is probably to farm some vegetables. Just then, Batty swooped in, and he had other bats with him.
Hey, Zozo! Meet my family. Now that we have a fortress, I decided it was safe to go get them. They've been hiding ever since that crazy guy made the first witch leave. They're excited to help us out.
That's great, Batty. I was actually just thinking about planting some crops. Could your family go out and find me some seeds?
Sure thing. We'll be back.
Once the bats flew off, I decided to explore the part of the island I still hadn't visited to see if there was a good place to farm. After a couple minutes, I found a clearing in the trees that got a lot of sun. It looked like the perfect place to plant seeds, except that I noticed something strange in the shadows. Is that slime? Gross. As I looked closer, I realized there were slimes all in the shadows, and they were jumping closer to me. I heard a loud splat. Gross, a slime attacked me, and also, that hurt. I had no idea if potions would work against slimes, so before wasting any, I decided to go back to the fortress and see what Batty knew about slimes when he got back. On days 32 to 35, Batty and his family came back with lots of seeds. Thanks, Batty and family. These seeds are awesome, but we have a problem. I found the perfect spot for a farm, but it's filled with slimes, and one of them attacked me. How can I get rid of them?
Oh man, I was afraid of that. I forgot to tell you that there's a little swamp on the side of the island, and I've heard rumors about slime sightings, but I never saw one, so I thought maybe we were safe.
Great. That swamp must be right next to the spot I want to put my farm. Is there a potion or something I can use to get rid of them?
You can defeat slimes and they'll drop slime balls, but actually maybe it's a good thing they're here. You can use slime balls to make all kinds of useful stuff.
When I heard that, I decided to go back with my trident that instant. After all, I didn't want the slimes to disappear, and I wanted those slime balls. When I got to the swamp, I saw the slimes were still there. They were different sizes. One was huge, a couple were medium, and there were a few little ones. What are you, like a slime family? I didn't wait for an answer. Can slimes even talk? I immediately threw my trident at the big slime. When it hit the slime, 2 medium slimes appeared. Wait, what? I thought I was going to get rid of you. Now I just have more slimes to deal with. I kept attacking the medium slimes, and they turned into smaller slimes. This was turning out to be a much bigger project than I planned. Finally, I was left with nothing but slime balls, so I collected all of them. I also spotted some materials that I knew would be perfect for my statue, so I grabbed some of those too before going back to my witchy fortress. Thanks a lot, Batty. You could have warned me that hurting slimes makes more slimes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Batty, we need to work on your memory. Seems like you forget a lot of things. Every single one of his bat family members agreed with me, rolling their eyes at Batty. On days 36 to 39, it was time to farm. Now that Batty's whole family was back, we needed some serious food. I went back to the clearing to plant some seeds. Hello, any more slimes out there? I didn't see a single green slime, so I decided it was safe to start planting.
Hi there.
I spun around and saw a little bat.
I'm Batty's little sister. I wanted to come talk to you away from Batty because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but his bad memory is becoming a real problem.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that.
But he's forgetting some really important things. Like when we flew around collecting seeds, we saw and heard a lot. The crazy trader has been hunting down a lot more supernatural creatures, including a lot who are actually good.
Since when are so many creatures good?
They just are. But it's hard to tell because the evil ones give everyone a bad reputation. But it's starting to get really serious. His crazy brain is telling him that even regular creatures are evil, even bats. Pretty soon, no one will be safe.
Wow, you aren't kidding. Batty's memory is really bad.
We need you to take down the crazy trader before he can do any more damage. Can you do it?
I thought about how much stronger I had gotten. I think I can. I'll do it. But first, I need to grow this food so I have enough energy to fight. I kept planting until all of the seeds were planted. Then I went back to the fortress where I did some more work on the statue before calling it a night. On days 40 to 43, Batty and his family came back from the big forest and told us about animals acting strangely.
Zozo, you won't believe it. Normally when we fly through the trees, the squirrels and rabbits say hello to us. Today they all tried to attack us. We had to fly high above them to stay away. What is going on?
The bats were describing the same weird things I had noticed before, but I had forgotten all about them in the other chaos. Maybe I should go investigate in case there's something serious going on. I decided to swim over to the forest and take another look. I walked down to the lake and dove in. As soon as I walked onto the beach, something didn't feel right. A bunch of crabs dug out from the sand, surrounding me. I don't think I can take on this many. Suddenly, a potion landed on some of them, clearing away. I turned around and saw Batty and his family. They swooped in and started fighting the crabs while Batty himself approached me.
We'll keep fighting off the crabs so you can get to the forest. Just keep going.
Batty went back to join his family as I ran as fast as I could into the forest. On days 44 to 49, I explored the forest looking for animals. I didn't want to be attacked, but I needed to figure out what was going on, especially if Batty and his family were now in danger too. I searched through the trees, but couldn't find a single animal. This was even more confusing. The forest is always filled with animals. Where did they all go? I kept walking until I reached the fields and still didn't see a single animal. This was so suspicious. Eventually, I turned around and went back to the lake. This time, there were no crabs anywhere. I swam across easily. When I reached the island, I saw my frog friend. Hey buddy, long time no see. How's it going? My frog friend didn't answer me. In fact, he didn't move at all. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? I walked closer to get a better look. The frog turned to look at me and his eyes were bright red.
Stop investigating the animals, witch. They're under my control. And if you interfere with my plans, I'll take you down.
The frog was under some kind of spell, and he was on my island. The danger was getting too close to home, and I was so worried about my frog friend. Before I could do anything else, he jumped into the water and swam away. I could only hope he would be safe. I went back to the fortress to talk to Batty. This was really serious. On days 50 to 53, Batty suggested that I should keep reading the witch diary to see if it could tell us anything about what was going on. I turned to the second page. Before you turn any more pages, I just want to say that I hope you're subscribing to this channel and enjoying more videos. Okay, the witch was really into subscriptions. Moving on, I got to page 3. I'm keeping this diary after the trader made me run from my home. I need to write down the true story in case I can never tell anyone in person. Everyone believes that the trader went crazy after a witch stole his son. This is not the truth. Before he went crazy, he traveled far into the mountains and met an old wizard who cast a spell on him. The wizard wanted to keep his son as an apprentice, so he made the trader go crazy, believing a witch had stolen his son. The wizard is the true enemy. Destroy him and break his spell. Okay, this was getting really crazy, but it also made sense. I wondered if the wizard was also controlling the animals, but I realized I was too hungry to keep reading. I had to go see if my crops were ready. On days 54 to 57, I went back to my farm. There were so many vegetables. I gathered as many as I could carry to bring home. When I got back, Batty was surprised at how much food I had. Batty, things are getting really scary out there. I want to make sure I have enough food in case we need to hide out, and I want to take care of you and your family. I also wanted to build up our defenses. I decided to build a tower so that I could see everything around us and see if danger was coming. I also decided to build a potion launcher in case we needed to defend inside the walls. Once it was built, I needed to see if it worked. I flipped the switch and fired off some potions. Wow, those went really far. I think this will work perfectly. I had some time, so I also decided to work on the statue. It's really coming along nicely. Can you tell what it is now? On days 58 to 62, I woke up to the sound of screeching. It was Batty and his family, sounding the alarm.
The trader is coming. The trader is coming.
Oh no, now that I knew why he was crazy, I didn't want to hurt him either. I ran up to the tower and saw the trader flying towards me. However this guy was flying, I wanted to learn how to do it. Hey man, stop attacking me. I don't want to hurt you. I know the wizard cast a spell on you. The trader swooped towards me, and I noticed for the first time his red, glowing eyes, just like my frog friend.
I'm not here to attack you this time, at least not right this second.
Huh? What did he mean by that? Suddenly, he pulled out a bottle and threw it at me. I can't see anything. What was that potion you threw at me?
Haha, a blindness potion. Two can play at the potion game, witch, and now you can't see what I'm doing next.
He was right. I couldn't see anything. I had to get back downstairs to get some milk, which Batty had told me would give me my vision back. I stumbled down the stairs and drank some milk, but it took me so long, I was worried about what the traitor did while I was blind. I was so exhausted from the ordeal, I decided to get some sleep. On days 63 to 66, I woke up and went back to the witch diary. I had stopped reading before, but now I knew I had to keep going and figure out what was going on with the animals and how to defeat the wizard. I opened the diary where I stopped reading before. Before I keep telling the sad story, I really hope that you're enjoying the video so far. If you like it, why don't you subscribe to our channel for more? I wasn't even going to try to understand that one. A warning for you, the wizard has been growing stronger every year. Soon, he'll be too powerful to defeat. You will know that his power is becoming too strong when he takes control of all good creatures in this land. Even the nicest animals will turn on you. This is a sign that you must defeat the wizard now. If you wait, it will be too late. My heart sank. Now I knew why the animals were acting crazy, and it meant that the wizard was growing too powerful to stop. On days 67 to 70, I knew I had to find the wizard and stop him before he took over the world. Unfortunately, I had no idea where he was. I didn't even know where the traitor was hiding. I started gathering supplies when suddenly I heard a familiar voice behind me.
What are you doing?
I turned around. Hi, Batty, where have you been? I haven't seen you since the traitor was here. I looked at Batty and gasped. His eyes were glowing red. Oh no, Batty, are you under the wizard's control too?
The wizard is my master now, thanks to the traitor who cast the wizard spell on me. He sent me here to tell you should give up now, because you will never find the wizard. He's hidden where no one will ever find him.
Batty flew away. I was so sad. My closest friend was under an evil spell.
Psst, Zozo, over here.
Batty's sister flew into the room.
I followed the traitor when he took Batty, and I know where he is hiding. Maybe if you go to his base, you can find out where the wizard is hiding. He's in a bunker underneath the farm that you first stole vegetables from.
So that's why the traitor came back, to kidnap Batty and turn him into a messenger. And no wonder the traitor kept coming. He was so close. Before I left, I made sure I still had the witch diary on me. I hadn't finished reading it yet, and it might have more important information. On day 71 to 74, I made my way back to the farm where I first stole vegetables. I didn't want to run into the farmer again, so before I actually entered his land, I had to make a plan. Batty's sister said the traitor was hiding in a bunker under the farm. If the traitor is hiding underground, he must have a secret entrance to get down there. I started walking around the farm looking for anything unusual. I spotted a huge rock that looked really out of place on a farm. Was this his secret entrance? Suddenly, a side of the rock slid open. It was a door. I was right. I looked around but didn't see the traitor, so why was the door opening? Then I saw Batty flying towards the rock. He was going into the traitor's base. Oh no, Batty, you really are under their control. The door slid closed. I waited a while to make sure nothing was happening, and then I snuck over to the rock. I didn't see any sign of a door. How do you open this door? I know there must be a way. I kept looking but couldn't figure out a way to open the door. I got frustrated and punched the door. Alarms started going off. Oh no, that was so stupid of me. I should have known they would have had defenses. I dove into some nearby plants and hid right before strange creatures started swarming around the door. They were birds, all of them with glowing red eyes. I stayed down while the birds flew around and they didn't see me. Then the door slid open.
Who's out there? No one? Birds! Pay closer attention next time. Whoever was at the door must have gotten away.
The traitor closed the door again, and I knew I would have to find another way to his base. It was obvious. I would have to dig a tunnel to reach him. I was close enough that I decided to start digging right there. I knew the base was under the house, so I kept digging in that direction. On days 75 to 78, I was digging a tunnel to reach the traitor's base. I knew I was getting close to the house, and the base had to be close by. I dug and dug until I saw a wooden wall. I had reached the base. I stopped to organize my inventory before I broke through the wall with my axe.
How did you find me, evil witch?
Hey man, I had to find you because you stole my friend Batty, but I don't want to fight you. I know that you're under the spell of the evil wizard. This isn't really you.
What are you talking about, witch? There is no wizard. I am going to destroy all creatures responsible for taking my son away from me.
He came rushing at me with his giant sword. I was scared, but I knew how much bigger and stronger I was since our first fight and all the special potions I had brewed. He swung a sword at me and I fought back, throwing potions, drinking healing potions, and stabbing at him with my trident.
Evil witch, you will not stop me.
I really wish this guy would stop calling me evil witch. He spun around and punched a wall and ran down another tunnel. I went to run after him, but he threw another blindness potion at me. So annoying. I put down my bag. Fortunately, I brought milk, so I drank it quickly, but not fast enough to see where he went. There was a fork where two tunnels went in different directions. I ate some of my food before I looked down both tunnels. To the right, I saw a red glow. It was his eyes. I took off running down the right tunnel, eating some more to make sure I was at full health. Soon, I reached another room. There, the traitor had grabbed a giant shield in addition to his sword. This was it. I was going to have to throw everything at him and hope I could defeat him. I threw every potion I had, hitting him with one right after the other. I hadn't thought about what might happen if all the potions mixed. The traitor had been knocked to the ground, and suddenly there was a black puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, his eyes were normal.
What happened? Where am I?
Had my potion somehow broken the wizard's spell? You're in a bunker underground. You've been hunting down creatures because you thought a witch stole your son.
No, I remember everything. I know a witch didn't steal my son. It was the wizard. He took my son and cast a spell on me so that I would think a witch had done it.
He looked so sad.
I think the wizard's spell was the only thing keeping me going all this time. Without the spell, I'm dying.
No, let's go destroy the wizard and save your son.
It's too late, but please, go defeat the wizard for me.
With that, the traitor disappeared. On days 79 to 84, I took one final look at the room we fought in, then went back through the tunnels of the traitor's bunker. I stopped there to rest for a minute. While I was there, I decided to eat something and keep reading the Witch Diary. The end of this story is sad and shocking. I have been exploring the mountains where I now hide, and I discovered where the wizard lives. I snuck closer to his hideout, and there I saw something terrible. The wizard was not the wizard I knew from before. Instead, the wizard was the traitor's son. He had become the wizard. Oh man, maybe it's a good thing the traitor disappeared. He would be so upset to learn his son had turned into the wizard. It is hard to say, but you still must find the wizard and destroy him, no matter who he is. If his power is this strong, there is no way to make him good again. I drew a map to where the wizard is hiding in the mountains. It is buried under my house on the island. Find the map, find the wizard, and destroy him. I guessed it was time to go back to the base. On days 8 and dug through the collapsed door, entering a cave which led me back out. On days 90 to 94, I used the map to figure out where the wizard was hiding. Sure enough, he was in the mountains near where I had met the other witch. I needed to prepare for this battle. I looked at the glowing potions. One was a potion of invisibility, which sounded pretty useful. Another said potion of disintegration. What was that? Its label read, "Do not drink me." I didn't want to use a potion that I didn't understand, so I went back to the diary. I flipped to the back of the book where the witch had made a list of all the potions and their uses. Looks like this is one of the strongest potions out there. I better use it carefully. I grabbed the bag and a bite to eat as I left my house. But before I went to confront the wizard, there was one more thing to do: finish my statue. Batty and his family weren't around to help me this time, but I still managed to finish it. There, I think it looks pretty good, but what do you think? With everything prepared, I placed down the broom in the courtyard and climbed on, soaring up into the air and over the tree line. I flew across the lake, over the forest, over a pumpkin grove, and over the fields. Then I saw the mountains getting closer. I saw the witch's hut, but I went past it. I didn't have any time to spare. I flew and flew up the mountainside until everything on the ground was barely visible. Looking at the edge of a steep cliff, I saw it, a great black castle. That must be where the wizard lives. I'm getting so close. Maybe I should take this invisibility potion so he doesn't see me coming. I drank the potion and turned invisible. Feeling safer, I flew up to his castle. The gate was wide open. Wow, this guy must feel pretty safe up here in the clouds to just leave his gate open. I peeked inside. On days 95 to 98, I snuck inside the wizard's castle. Even though I was invisible, I knew I had to be quiet and careful or he would realize I was there. The castle was huge. There were so many hallways and stairs, I didn't know where to start. I had to find the wizard though, so I started walking down the darkest, scariest looking hallway. I figured that was my best shot. As I walked down the hall, I started hearing whispering voices. It was hard to understand what they were saying, but one thing I did hear.
You've reached the wizard's lair, and the final battle approaches. Only the strongest warrior dares to fight the wizard. If you've enjoyed this journey, prove it by liking this video and subscribing to our channel.
On day 99, I kept following the voices until I reached a solid wall, blocking the rest of the hallway. Had I reached a dead end? Suddenly, I heard a voice calling out.
Zozo? Zozo, where are you?
It was Batty's sister again. I didn't know how she had followed me or escaped evil spells, but I was so happy to see her. Hey, I'm over here. I turned off my invisibility so that she could see me.
Oh, there you are, Zozo. I came to tell you it's not a dead end. Don't worry. I've been following Batty and I know how to get in. This wall is a door. Punch the bottom right brick and you can open it.
I walked towards the wall and punched a brick on the side. The wall lifted upwards, revealing a new hallway. Thanks, but now you should really get out of here. Things are about to get really crazy.
Good luck, Zozo. I'll see you back at base.
I went down the hallway, which ended with a staircase. At the top of the stairs, there was a big open room. Right next to the window was a huge throne, and in the throne sat the wizard.
So you found me, but you still have to defeat me, and you never will.
The wizard stood up and raised his hands to cast a spell. This was the moment to throw my potion of disintegration. It exploded around him, but didn't do anything.
You thought you could use a potion against me? You silly witch. I am invincible to all magic except my own.
What did that mean? How could he not be invincible to his own magic? Then I realized something. I had his sword. I pulled out the sword and it started glowing. It was a magical sword, and it was the wizard's sword. Did this mean I could destroy him with it?
Where did you get that sword? That was my master's sword that he gave me when I became the wizard, but another witch stole it from me. How do you have it?
Doesn't matter how I got it, buddy. What matters is that I'm going to use it to destroy you. Before I could attack him, though, I felt some of the sword's power start to enter me. I grew to be even bigger with even more hearts, and now I had a cool magical effect surrounding me. I ran towards the wizard, but as soon as I got close to him, he teleported behind me. That's not good. I charged at him again, only for him to teleport away, but I could tell he was getting tired. He summoned ice spheres that circled around him as I rushed at him again. He didn't have time to teleport away, but he snared me instead, landing more firebolts on me before teleporting away again.
No, how are you still standing? My spell should have taken you down.
I don't know, dude, but take this! Before he could do anything else, I swung the sword as hard as I could and hit the wizard. He screamed as his magic started to seep out of him. I backed away right before he vanished in a white explosion. I had defeated the wizard. Time to get out of here! I rode my broom all the way back to the base, drinking healing potions to recover on the way. As I flew over the forest, I wondered what I would find. As soon as I passed over the forest, I heard cheering. All the rabbits and squirrels had come out to welcome me home, and not a single one of them attacked me. I was so relieved and excited to get back to base. I glided across the lake and saw the crabs celebrating my return. I got to the island, and right there in front of me were Frog, Batty, and Batty's entire family. All their eyes were normal, and they were cheering.
You did it, Zozo! You defeated the wizard!
Batty, it's so good to see you again. I'm so happy you're free of the evil spell. Now I'm going to go inside, eat a nice big meal, and go to sleep. If another evil wizard comes back, you know where I'll be. On day 1, I spawned in as Mario. Hey, it's me, Mario! Except I was just a little baby. I only had 3 hearts. I looked around and saw Princess Peach. She was also just a little baby. Hello, Princess. Do you know where we are?
I have no idea. It looks like some kind of forest.
I looked around and all of the trees close to us looked like they had been burned down. The grass was dead too. We were basically in a little crater. Huh, that's odd. Just then, a bunch of Koopa Troopas came out from the trees and grabbed Peach. Hey, you let her go! I jumped on one Koopa and he took a lot of damage. Neat. I jumped again, but the Koopas got some hits in. I only had a little bit of health left. Before I knew it, some Koopa Troopas were taking Peach away. I didn't have the strength to fight all of them, but I tried to follow after to see where they were going.
You let me go!
Peach struggled, but it was no use. There were too many Koopas and she was tiny. I kept following, but then all of a sudden, they disappeared. Hey, where did they go? I looked around but didn't see them anywhere. It was getting dark out, so I decided to find some shelter for the night. I would look for Peach tomorrow. On day 2, I woke up and went to gather some supplies. I couldn't help Peach if I didn't have some sort of weapons. I gathered some wood from some trees and went to building a crafting table. Then I made some wood tools along with a sword. This'll do the trick. I decided that I wanted to set up a base. I needed to make sure I was safe from Bowser and his goons. I got right to work gathering supplies and clearing out an area next to the water. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was safe. I went to grab some more supplies when I was attacked by some Goombas. Get away, you little shrooms. I drew my sword and went about slicing them up. It was super easy thanks to my new weapons. Yeah, take that! I gathered the rest of my materials and went back to put some finishing touches on the base. Home sweet home. On day 3, I decided to go exploring for some new materials, and I needed some sort of food. My hunger bar was starting to get really low. I managed to find some mushrooms, but I wanted to find some animals. I happened upon a small abandoned house with some pigs and sheep in a pen. Perfect! Just as I was grabbing them, I heard a yell from behind some trees. I quickly ran over and saw my friend Toad. He was being attacked by some guys in masks. Hey, you leave my friend alone! I charged with my sword and smacked the Shy Guys left and right, but they were too strong. Run, Toad! Together we ran through the trees and lost the Shy Guys.
Mario, you're alive! And you're small!
Yeah, I'm alive. Why wouldn't I be?
Everyone thought when you went to go save Princess Peach that you died.
I was so confused.
You went to go fight Bowser in his castle a couple of days ago. When you never came out, everyone thought he defeated you.
Yikes, well I'm here, but I'm not as strong as I can be. Some Koopas kidnapped Peach, which I assume was Bowser's doing since they work for him, but I'm going to save her.
I believe in you.
I invited Toad to live in my base where it would be safe. He happily agreed and we took off. On days 4 to 5, I decided to make Toad a little house for himself. It was a nice little place, and he seemed really appreciative.
Wow, this is great. Thanks.
Of course. I also planted a garden full of my mushrooms. I figured I should probably go out to get some food for Toad as well, so I went exploring. I managed to find some wheat seeds and some carrots, but then I was attacked by some Goombas. Get back! I managed to finish them off in just a few swipes. Man, if only everything was that easy. Just then, I noticed that one of the Goombas had dropped something. It looked like a big mushroom. I checked it, and it was a super mushroom. Whoa, cool! This will come in handy for later. I made my way back to the base with my seeds and began planting. It was really starting to come together. On day 6 to 8, I went to gather gather some animals. I hadn't gotten any before because Toad and I were attacked, but I was determined to get some now. I headed out near the water when I saw Bowser. He was with some of his Koopas. I decided to attack. Hey, give me back Princess Peach, you overgrown lizard! I charged at Bowser. He wasn't expecting it, and I managed to get a few hits in.
Puny little man, take this!
Just then, Bowser let off a breath of fire. Ow, 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 ow. I jumped away, trying to extinguish the flames. Bowser just laughed and took off with his goons. Wow, I forgot he could breathe fire! After another minute of letting my hearts regenerate, I went back to look for some animals. I had had a rough day, but I still needed to take care of me and my friend. On days 9 to 10, I headed back to the base with some sheep and pigs. I made some quick pens for them and herded them in so they wouldn't escape. Then I found Toad and told him about my encounter.
That's awesome that you took on Bowser.
I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I did get some hits in. I knew I could defeat Bowser, I just had to keep training. Then, I had an idea. Hey Toad, I want to build a statue just outside the base. It'll let people know that I'm still here and that I'm going to defeat Bowser once and for all.
That sounds great.
Toad agreed to help and we cleared out an area. We started building and managed to get some of the base done. Can you tell what it's going to be? I also made some modifications to the base, including a lounge area and a bigger garden. It was looking good. On days 11 through 12, I went back to my spawning point. I needed some more information about what had happened before, and I figured that might be a good place to start. I approached the crater and immediately I was sucked into the sand. Ah! Before I knew it, everything had gone black. Then, all of a sudden, I was my old self again. I was big and strong. I was storming Bowser's castle, fighting my way through the Koopas. I defeated them easily and found Bowser in his throne room. He had Peach. Let her go, Bowser. He laughed and pointed a weird-looking shell at me. Peach managed to run forward and grab me as the magic hit us both. We disappeared as Bowser screamed. All of a sudden, I felt something pulling me out of the sand. I gasped for breath and realized it was Toad. Toad, how did you know where I was?
I followed you because you were being super odd this morning. I saw you fall into the sand, and I couldn't get to you for a while. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I remember what happened. I told Toad about my flashback.
Whoa, that's crazy. I wonder where Bowser got a weapon like that.
No idea, but he won't use it again. I'll make sure of it. On days 13 to 15, I went back out to gather some more supplies. I happened upon the same abandoned house where I found Toad and saw the same Shy Guys hanging out around it. I tried to sneak past, but they saw me and attacked. Hey, I wasn't doing anything to you. They didn't listen and just kept hitting me, but I was stronger this time and I managed to defeat all of them. Yeah! Just then, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a regular-sized Mario. I had my mustache back too. Hey, I feel like my old self again. I jumped and realized I could go much higher than before. Wow, this is amazing. I'm basically flying. I gathered the rest of the wood and branches easily with my new jumping ability. I could take on anybody now. On days 16 through 19, I found a cave that had some really great materials in it. I was able to gather some stone for some new tools and weapons. Neat. I went down further into the cave when I saw something floating in the air. What is that? I got closer and I realized it was a boo. Before I knew it, it saw me, but then it covered its face. Okay? Maybe it wouldn't be a problem. I started to mine some of the materials, but then it attacked me. I turned back around and it covered its face again. Okay, I see how it is. I tried to keep my eyes on the boo, but it kept getting attacks in. Eventually, I managed to hit it and it disappeared in a puff. I hurried and made a crafting table, and with my new materials, I made a stone pickaxe, sword, and other tools. Nice! I had some good materials and decided to head back to the base to make some upgrades. On days 20 to 22, I made it back to the base just as Toad started yelling.
Help! It's Bowser! He's at the back door!
I hurried and drew my sword before approaching the backside of the base. I went up onto the top of the wall and looked down. Sure enough, it was Bowser. Hey, get away from here, Bowser! He looked up at me and shrieked.
I knew I would find you eventually. I heard you were in the forest somewhere. Give it up. You're no match for me.
That's enough talking. I jumped down and attacked. With my new ability, I could jump to avoid Bowser, but I couldn't jump on top of his shell. His spikes were too, well, spiky. Ouch!
Princess Peach is mine. You can't have her.
Bowser drew a large breath and then breathed fire at me. I was able to jump and then land a blow on his head.
Ah!
He shrieked again and started to retreat. Yeah, run away, you coward. I'm not through with you yet. I let him go, knowing full well that I would see him again. I knew I could eventually beat him. I wasn't very strong, but I would get there. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the abandoned shack to check it out. I had been too busy trying to defeat the Shy Guys that I didn't even check out the house. Inside were a few beds and tables, but I found a secret hatch. Neat! It led down into the ground into a small room. In the corner was a chest. I opened it up, and there was a bunch of stuff inside. Wow, this is great! I gathered the string, iron ingots, seeds, and then I noticed there was an iron sword. Hey, this is exactly what I need! I drew the sword and took a swipe. It was much better than my stone sword. Wow, I feel great! great, and you know what will make you feel great? Subscribing and clicking the bell. You'll be just as happy as me. I went back up the ladder with my new stuff, excited to show Toad what I had found. On days 27 to 31, I started to work on the statue, but then realized we needed some green dye. Hey Toad, where can I get some green dye?
Cacti! If you grab a bunch of those, we should be able to dye some wool.
Perfect, I'll go looking for some. I traveled through the forest for a while before making it to the desert. It was so hot. Sheesh, this is miserable. I looked around and saw some cacti. As I was approaching, I felt something hit me. What was that? I looked around and saw a pokey. It had blended into the sand really well. But it wasn't just one pokey, there were a bunch, and I was surrounded. Jeez, where did you come from? I drew my new sword and started swatting at the plants. They kept falling on me and I had to dodge their tall bodies. After a minute, I had defeated them all. That was a new one. I grabbed as many cacti as I could hold and headed out of the desert looking for pokies. I saw some and quickly skirted around them. As fun as that was, I don't really want to do it again. I made it back safely and managed to dye the sheep green. I sheared them and started on the statue. It was looking good. We weren't even close to finishing, but it was going to turn out awesome. On days 32 to 33, I went out to look for some more people. I couldn't remember much from my former life, but I did know that I had friends. They were probably hoping that I was still alive. I went through the forest, past the edge of the desert, and went further into the taiga. I was traveling for a long time when I saw a light up ahead. When I got closer, I realized it was a castle. I don't remember whose this is, but I'm sure they are friendly. I approached and was immediately attacked by some Goombas. Get back! Just then, someone came out to help me. It was Daisy. After a minute, we defeated all of the Goombas. Daisy!
You're alive! I'm so glad!
She invited me into the castle and tea was served.
It's so good to see you. I desperately need your help.
With what?
Have you not heard? Luigi has been captured by Wario. Well, I guess you wouldn't have heard, since it happened the day after you disappeared.
I couldn't believe it. Man, did us brothers have bad luck or what? I'll go get him. He is my brother after all.
Oh, thank you.
She gave me directions for the lair that Luigi was being held in, and I started to make my way in that direction. On days 36 to 39, I went looking for Luigi. I knew that I had a brother, but all the details were fuzzy. That weird magic shell that Bowser had used on me was really doing a number on my memory. I made my way through the taiga into a tropical rainforest area. It was raining and I could tell that it was going to get dark soon. Ugh, I'm all soggy. Just then, the rainforest opened up into a clearing. There was a rundown castle and lots of plants surrounding the walls. Looks easy enough. I saw a little bird fly past, and all of a sudden, one of the plants gobbled it up. Piranha plants. I should have known. I scoped out the area again, trying to find a way around the carnivorous plants. I looked up and decided I was going to try to climb one of the trees overhanging the castle. I made my way over and jumped up the branches. All was going well until I stepped onto a slippery branch. Ah! On days 40 to 43, I was falling to my death. I was just about to hit the ground when I realized I was in water. I hadn't noticed the small river running alongside the castle. Phew, that was too close. I couldn't climb the tree, so I guess I had to go the original way. I maneuvered around the plants, slicing them if their jaws got too close to me. Before I knew it, I was at the front door. It wasn't even locked as I went to open it. Amateurs. I walked in and up the stairs where I saw Luigi in a cave.
Brother!
I ran toward him, but then Wario and Waluigi stepped out.
Not so fast, Red. You're ours now.
Yeah, ours.
Give me a break. I attacked the goons and they screamed. What were they expecting? A nice little chat over brunch? I attacked over and over again, and before I knew it, the goons were gone. They dropped a key, which I picked up.
Brother, you're alive!
Yeah, it's all Bowser's fault. I'm getting stronger though, and pretty soon, I'll save Peach. Again.
What is it with these princesses getting captured?
I looked at the cage Luigi was in and raised my eyebrow.
Never mind. Just help me out.
I used the key to unlock the door and embraced Luigi. It's good to see you too, brother. Let's get you back to Daisy.
Wait, I need to grab my stuff.
Luigi went over to a nearby chest and grabbed some things. While he was doing that, I looked throughout the ruins to see if there was anything worth taking. I did find some wool, a few emeralds, and a diamond pickaxe. Not bad. We made our way out of the castle, carefully, and back to Daisy's castle. She was ecstatic to see Luigi again.
Thank you. If you would like to stay here, you are more than welcome.
Thanks, but I have a base not too far away.
Well, don't be a stranger. If you need anything, you know where to find us.
On days 44 to 49, I made my way back to the base. I found some sheep along the way and managed to lead them back. I figured that the statue needed some work, which meant more wool. I went straight to dyeing the sheep and shearing their coats. Toad came out and I told him all about my adventures. He helped me on the next part of the statue, and it was looking really nice. Can you guess what it is now? I also used my new pickaxe to gather some better materials for the base. I made the walls taller and added some more security measures. I didn't want Bowser anywhere close to us again. On days 50 to 53, we were under attack. The base was on fire and Koopas were running around. I managed to fight some off when I noticed that Bowser was hanging back in the forest. Coward, why don't you fight me yourself? He roared and the Koopas tried to retreat. I managed to finish off a couple more as I made my way toward Bowser. Just then I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a bigger version of myself. I screamed at Bowser and a plume of fire came out from my mouth.
mouth. Whoa, I'm Fire Mario! Bowser must have been scared, because he immediately began running away with the remaining Koopas. I hurried to put out the flames before it engulfed the entire base. I went to go check on Toad, but he wasn't in the house. I went looking around the base, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Oh no, Bowser must have taken him! It was all my fault. I was too preoccupied with the Koopas and getting to Bowser that I didn't even notice them taking my friend away. I felt awful. I needed to find Toad, but I had no idea where to go. On days 54 to 57, I fixed the base. I needed to make sure that nobody ever could get in again. I made larger and thicker walls, built security towers, and even added some pressure plates with traps. No way anyone is getting in here. I knew I needed to save Toad. I just needed some help first. I decided to go back to Daisy to see what she knew about Bowser and his henchmen. I made my way to her castle and was immediately greeted by Luigi when I got there.
Brother, you've returned.
Not to stay. I need some help. He led me inside and I chatted with him and Daisy about Toad being kidnapped by Bowser.
Bowser doesn't keep prisoners in his castle unless it's Peach. He hands them all off to King Boo. They're friends, and King Boo gets a kick out of scaring people.
That's awful.
I'm sure that's where Bowser would have taken Toad. It's a long way from here and it's very creepy. Everyone calls it Shadowland. Nothing grows there.
How do I get there? They told me where the castle would be and wished me luck.
He has probably imprisoned all sorts of innocent people there. Be sure to help them.
Of course. I wanted to go save my friend, but I needed to make some preparations first. On days 58 to 62, I went searching for more materials. I found a cave and started mining some iron ore. I made some new tools and went digging deeper into the ground. After a while, I found some diamonds. Perfect, just what I was looking for. I was about to mine them when I was attacked from behind. I flipped around and saw a bunch of boos. I'm not in the mood, ghosty boys. I used my new iron sword to swipe at them. They tried to fly away, but I got them all. Take that! I went back to mining my diamonds and was able to gather enough to make some weapons and some armor. Now that's slick. I could take on anything with this getup. I was feeling more confident about saving Toad already. On days 63 to 66, I headed back to the base to work on the statue. I dyed more wool green as well as some yellow and gathered it all up to make the next part of the statue. It's almost there, just one last part to go. I felt happy about my progress and how strong I was getting. I was going to rescue my friend. I knew it. I also know that if you subscribe and click that bell, that would help me to have the support I need to go and rescue my friends. On day 67 to 70, I followed the directions Daisy and Luigi gave me to get to the Shadowland. They were right. It was super creepy here. All the ground was covered in some sort of weird moss and the sky was darker. I only want to stay here for as long as it takes to get my friends, not a minute longer. I approached the castle and opened the tall double doors. They swung easily but made a haunting sound as they did so. I hated that. I walked into the castle and the door swung closed behind me. Oh great, just what I wanted. All of a sudden, a bunch of boos came out from behind the pillars and started attacking me. These guys weren't shy at all about getting up in my face. I'd rather you not do that, thanks. I managed to poof them all out of existence before heading up the grand staircase. King Boo has some fancy digs. I continued up further but couldn't find anyone. They must be in the basement. I continued back down the stairs, looking around for the entry to the basement. There didn't seem to be a staircase anywhere. That's odd. I went into a room that I assumed was some sort of study. I looked at the walls and noticed that one of them looked like a different color than the rest of the bricks. I kept looking and noticed a cool little paperweight on the desk, shaped like a crown. I tried to grab it, but it was stuck to the desk. I tilted it and in doing so, opened up a secret passageway. Nice! On day 71 to 74, I went down the stairs into the creepy dungeon. There were cobwebs everywhere and I thought I heard screams as I descended further. I hope my friends are okay. The stairway opened into a large room full of cages hanging from the ceiling. I could see Toad.
You're here!
I ran to get closer to the cage, but then I felt something hit me from behind. I immediately felt dizzy. I turned around and could barely make out King Boo with his crown and scepter. He laughed at me with his creepy smile.
Someone wants to be a hero. How fun.
He hit me again with his scepter and I felt myself losing health. Fast. The dizziness was overwhelming. What kind of weird magic was this? I'm here to friends my save from you, Boo King.
Yes. The scepter is doing its job. Don't worry. You'll be unconscious in no time.
I waved my sword around mindlessly. Move, you big ball of creepy creep. Before I knew it, I had fallen down and everything went black. On days 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage and my head hurt. Man, that did not go as planned.
You're telling me.
I looked over and could see Toad, along with Toadette, Yoshi, Rosalina, and Birdo. Wow, I guess we're all a bunch of geniuses, huh?
You're still feeling the effects of the scepter. Just take it easy.
Toad was right. I was feeling pretty awful still. I looked around the room and noticed there was a large release button on the wall, but it was too far away. Then I had an idea. Hey everybody, try to take cover, okay?
Everyone huddled in their cages as I let out my fire breath. I aimed toward the button, and the pressure from the fire activated it. All the cages popped open, and we were free. Everyone, get upstairs. We need to escape.
Not so fast.
I looked and saw King Boo coming down the stairs. Everyone backed up against the wall. You won't get me again, Boo. He smiled his creepy smile and charged me. I let out another fire breath, which sent him flying. He screamed and tried to go back up the stairs. Not so fast. I let out another fire breath and got him square in the face. He screamed again. I ran up and hit him a few more times with my sword, doing some hefty damage. Then, in the blink of an eye, King Boo was no more.
Yay!
Everyone cheered and started heading up the stairs. We all made it out and headed toward the base, triumphant. On day 79 to 84, we traveled back to the base. It was a long journey, but we were all doing okay. Before we got there, we ran into Daisy and Luigi.
We have just heard the most terrible news.
What is it? Is everyone okay?
For now, but Bowser has figured out a way to amplify the magic of the shell he used on you. He's going to make all of us small and weak and then capture us.
Everyone started freaking out. Everybody, it's okay. I will go and stop him before he has a chance to use the shell.
We thought it would be safer with you. Is it okay if we stay at the base?
Of course. We continued to make our way to the base. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but I needed to stop Bowser before it was too late. On days 85 to 89, we all arrived back at the base. We got right to work making more houses for everyone and planting more food. It was good to know that everyone could be safe here. After a while, Toad came up to me.
I noticed that King Boo dropped his scepter and his crown after you defeated him, so I hurried and grabbed those before heading out.
Good thinking, Toad. He gave me the items. Both seemed powerful, but I noticed the gems were missing in the crown. I wonder if that's what gave it its power. I already knew what the scepter could do, so I didn't think too much of it.
Hey, let's finish the statue. Let's show Bowser just how powerful you really are.
We went to work finishing up the last part of the statue. It had taken a good bit of time, but it turned out amazing. I was super proud of it. We went back down to the base, where Toadette greeted me.
I need to talk to you about the crown Toad found.
Okay, what's up?
Before Bowser captured Toad, the rest of us were all in the dungeon for a long time. I overheard Bowser talking to one of his henchmen about stealing the gems from King Boo's crown. He didn't want Boo to become more powerful than him. Boo assumed it was a servant who stole them, but it was Bowser. I know where he keeps the gems. You should get them so you can use the crown against Bowser.
That's great information, Toadette. Thanks. Now I felt even more confident in my ability to defeat Bowser. On days 90 to 94, I traveled to the place that Toadette had told me about. It seemed like a smaller compound guarded by some Koopas, though these Koopas looked a little tougher than the other ones I had seen before. This must be the place. The security is better. He must be hiding some good stuff here. I snuck around and opened the door. I was met by a bunch of Koopas, which I smacked with my sword. I knocked out dozens of Koopas as I headed toward the small tower in the middle. Nobody could touch me. I was so powerful. I made it to the tower without a scratch and opened the door. I made my way up the stairs and into a small room with a chest in the middle.
Get out of here before I turn you into a nice mantelpiece for the wall.
I turned and saw a Koopa, this one larger than most I had seen. I'd like to see you try. The Koopa charged and actually got a few good hits in. He was a really good fighter. I dodged and swiped with my sword. He put up a good fight, but before long, he was gone. Oof, that was a bit tough. I went to the chest and opened it up. Inside was some gold, a bunch of netherite ingots, as well as the gems. I put the gems in the crown and it started to glow. I didn't want to put it on just yet. I figured I would save it for later. Thanks, Toadette. That was an awesome stash. I headed back to the base with my pockets brimming with all kinds of treasures. On days 95 to 97, I took the netherite I had found and upgraded my diamond gear into netherite armor and weapons. Nice, this is going to be amazing for my fight. I went around the base saying goodbye to my friends.
Goodbye, brother. Good luck in there.
Thanks.
Thanks for all of your help. You go rescue Princess Peach and take Bowser down.
Will do.
Here's some mushrooms for good luck.
Thanks, Toad. You're an awesome friend. Everyone waved as I left the base. It was go time. On day 98, I traveled to Bowser's base. I crossed all sorts of terrains on the way, which made it a long journey, but it was worth it if I could save my friends. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. It's been awesome having you so far. We'd love for you to tell us what you'd like to see next. I made my way over a hill and finally saw Bowser's terrifying castle. Now was my time to shine. On day 99, I approached Bowser's castle. This place is enormous. I entered the castle and it was empty. Huh. Weird. I went up multiple flights of stairs without seeing anyone. Okay, this is really strange. I finally made it to the throne room where I saw Princess Peach. She was full grown now, just like me, but she was in shackles.
Mario, help!
I approached, but then remembered what happened the last time. I looked around and sure enough, Bowser was trying to hide behind a pillar, waiting to attack. Nice try, big guy. He held the shell in his hand, a sort of mechanism strapped to it. It seemed to all be taped together. It honestly looked a little silly. You do that yourself? Is that why all your Koopas left? They saw how incompetent you are and don't want to follow you anymore?
What's it to you? I'm going to rule this land, and nobody is going to stop me.
You went to push a button and nothing happened.
What? Why?
You broke it, Bowser. I tried to tell you to give it up.
You be quiet.
Bowser tossed aside the shell, ready to breathe fire at me. I hurried and put King Boo's crown on. Just then, I leveled up into a huge Mario, just as big as Bowser. I'm Super Mario! I charged at Bowser with all my might. We exchanged blows. He was taking a lot of hits, but he wasn't doing too bad himself. I saw my health starting to decline, but couldn't give up now. Using all my strength, I made one final blow, knocking Bowser down, defeating him.
Yay, you did it!
Princess Peach jumped up and down for joy. We were free! On day 100, Princess Peach and I made it back to the base, safe and sound. Everyone cheered as we came in. It felt good to be a hero. On day 1, I spawned in as Distorted Alex. Only 4 hearts? I should stay out of trouble with health like that, especially since I'm Distorted Alex, creepypasta legend, and enemy to players and villagers everywhere. Luckily, I had the power to turn invisible. Now you see me, now you don't. Time to scare some villagers. But hey, where is everyone? I started sneaking around the village, but it looks like all the villagers are gone, except for one. Hello? Wait a second, that's not a villager, that's an illager, and it looks like it wants to get me. I turned invisible and ran inside a nearby house. I turned around and saw that I wasn't alone in there though. There was a hungry wolf with me. He must be able to smell me, even though I'm invisible. I tried to escape, but the wolf kept following me. I ran out of the house and looked for another one to hide in. I found one, but there wasn't a door. Luckily, there was a chest at the top, and I managed to block the entrance with a wooden block. I'm gonna stay inside this house until morning so the illager and the dog won't find me. Maybe I'll be able to find out what happened to the other villagers tomorrow, since what good is it being Distorted Alex if I can't sneak up on people? On day 2, I opened a treasure chest inside the house and found some cobblestone and wood, which I used to make a shovel and an axe. I was ready to use the axe on the wolf, but after I had removed the wood blocking the entrance, I could see that the wolf was gone. It looked like there was also a basement level to this house, so I went down. Oh no, is that another wolf? Luckily, it wasn't a wolf this time. It was a friendly dog.
You're not my master.
No, I'm not. But what happened to your village? It doesn't look like anyone is here anymore.
Those illagers took all the villagers away a few days ago. They had wolves with them too, and I had to hide down here to get away from them.
Where did they take them?
Over the hills, to the north of here. You look scary, but would you be willing to help me? Please? Please rescue my master.
I know that I was supposed to be Distorted Alex, but how can you say no to a puppy dog? Looks like they needed a hero, even one that looks like a creepy version of Alex. Okay, I'll do my best. I looked around the basement and found an iron sword hanging on the wall. Finally, a weapon! Just then, I noticed I was feeling pretty hungry. I took a look inside the sacks and barrels, but they were all empty. The dog sniffed around and pointed to a barrel. I took a look inside and found some baked potatoes among a bunch of other food. I could tell the dog was hungry too, so I tossed some food out to him.
Ugh, I don't eat this. I need some bones or meat.
Yeah, that's a good point. Don't worry, we'll find something for you soon. On day 3, I decided to dig a cave beneath the basement to see if I can find any more materials down there. But to do that, I needed to craft a pickaxe. I put out the fire, then got to work crafting a pickaxe. I'll even give one to the dog so he can help me mine. We dug a little too far though and got attacked by a lurker. Get to safety, dog, I'll handle this. I turned invisible and snuck up on the lurker, using my sword to bring it down. Looks like defeating that mob brought me up to 6 hearts. Awesome! This cave isn't actually all that dangerous. I think I'll make it my underground base. On days 4 to 5, I went outside and noticed that after my level up, I can also warp short distances. Awesome! I started gathering wood from the surrounding trees. I used my warp a few times to get up the tree and reach all the logs, and even to cross a river and a ravine. I started heading back, but oh no, it's that illager again. He must be patrolling the area around the village. I warped out of sight and turned invisible so I could listen to him talking without being detected.
Thought I saw another pathetic villager to capture and bring to the redstone mines, but I guess not.
So it is true, the illagers were the ones who took everyone away. I guess it figures that all of them didn't just leave on their own. But now how am I supposed to live up to my legend? I'm supposed to be the one who makes all the villagers run away from the village. They're supposed to be scared of me, not these lamos. I couldn't let them take any more people. He was no match for me now that I was stronger. I was able to hit him hard and take him out quickly. On days 6 to 8, I first improved my base in the cave. After that, I mined so much stone from the underground that I could craft a suit of stone armor to protect me. But first, I needed to craft the cobblestone into cobblestone nuggets, which I smelt into cobblestone ingots, and then crafted those into the armor. I dug down even deeper into the mine and took on some cave spiders. Take that! You spiders think you can be scarier than me? I'm Distorted Alex, the best creepypasta around. My armor and sword were both really great, but when 3 cave spiders with poison take you down to half a heart, it's no fun. I looked around, but could only find coal, so I grabbed some. This place is scary though, and I swear I hear some creepy sounds. I'm going invisible. Oh, right, when I'm invisible, I need to take my armor off. Now let's get out of here, don't want to risk getting hurt. On days 9 to 10, I went to the nearby hills in order to search for those redstone mines that I had heard the villager talking about. All the real villagers, including the dog's human, were probably there right now, and they needed my help. Of course, they don't know that I'm Creepypasta yet, but we'll cross that scary bridge over a scary river when we get to it. For now, it was time to find out what I was up against. I showed up to an area where a lot of redstone was being hauled out of a cave in a minecart. This must be the place. There's also this huge green guy with a giant sword.
All the redstone will belong to me, the Great Crushmore.
He was no joke. I better not mess with him. Good thing I could sneak inside the mine with my invisibility. Maybe I'll be able to scare Crushmore later, once I level up more. Just as I suspected, a bunch of villagers were being forced to mine redstone non-stop. I like redstone as much as the next player, but there are limits, man. Haven't you ever heard of the phrase, mind your own business? Whoa, Crushmore even captured a shopkeeper. I decided to reveal myself to the shopkeeper. Hello, Mr. Shopkeeper. My name is Zozo, and I'm looking for the owner of a nice dog.
My dog is okay? Thank goodness.
He's waiting for you back at the village. Come with me, I can sneak us out of here.
I'll only go if you agree to help the rest of the villagers. Crushmore is making us mine every day without any breaks. He needs to be stopped.
Deal. What else could I say? We started to sneak out of the cave, but he spotted us. Let's get out of here. On days 11 to 12, I fixed up the house so that the shopkeeper could move back in with his dog. He gave me some health potions and agreed to let me keep expanding the basement as long as I defeated any mobs that came in. I found a troll in the mine, and my iron sword couldn't do anything to it. It just kept healing. I had to drink one of my health potions. What are trolls weak against anyway? Maybe I need something that damages quicker than it can heal. Fire could do the job. I gathered more wood and crafted some torches. Then I noticed I had no armor equipped. The next time I see the troll, I'll be able to light it up. Ha! Sick burn. And I'll make sure to wear some armor this time too. I went back to the troll and used the torch to light him on fire. Looks like fire attacks are super effective. I should stock up on flint and steel as well. That way I can use fire whenever I need to. Distorted Alex can burn down buildings, right? I guess I might as well embrace it. I started to find iron and other metals in the mine, so soon I'd be able to craft steel and upgrade my armor. I crafted an iron chestplate, iron boots, iron shovel, and iron pickaxe, and had to go grab one last piece of iron for the flint and steel. It'd be nice to get a new weapon, too. On days 13 to 15, I was at the base when the shopkeeper decided to tell me what happened when the villagers were taken away.
We were always worried about Crushmore. For a long time, he made us give him all the redstone we had, or else. Some of our people didn't want to give up their own redstone, so they became outcasts from us. Those were the Illagers. We never could have imagined that they'd team up with Crushmore and bully us into doing their dirty work. Now everyone is trapped in those redstone mines, and the village will be empty until somebody does something about it.
How terrible. Won't you do something, Zozo?
I thought about it, and then I gave my answer. The truth is, I'm an outcast myself. I'm not saying what the Illagers did was right, but I totally understand not wanting to give away their materials. You're all scared of Crushmore, and so am I. Sorry, but there's nothing I can do. It felt really weird to admit that I was scared, but I had never seen a boss as strong as Crushmore. He was probably close to 100 times as scary as me, and I was supposed to be the creepypasta character around here. That doesn't seem right. The shopkeeper and his dog were saddened by this, but what I had said was the truth. On days 16 to 19, I left the empty village and left my base behind to go find the materials to make a better weapon in the mountains. Crushmore would come looking for the shopkeeper and his dog eventually, and with all the Illagers he already had on his side, he'd be totally unstoppable. I saw some light at the top of the mountain. That's the way. I climbed up the snowy mountain slopes, but at some point it got too steep. It looked like my only option was to swim up a small waterfall. Oh man, this is freezing. I soon made it to the top, but there were more trolls here. It was time to put that flint and steel to good use. I made several fires, which scared them off. Then I found an ice cave, but it was guarded by more trolls. No worries, I got this. I set part of the cave on fire, and the trolls fled. At the back of the cave, on a stone pedestal, I found a frosted sword with sharpness 3. It was made of enchanted ice that was 10 times as strong as normal. I started to think about the way I had left things with the shopkeeper and his dog, and realized that I had been a little rude. I mean, just because Distorted Alex doesn't usually help people in need doesn't mean I should ever do it. Sometimes you gotta be the hero, even if it goes against what you had planned. That's just the right thing to do. Besides, I already promised I would help save the other villagers from the redstone mine, and a promise is a promise. I began to make my way back down the mountain when I saw a llama struggling near the edge of the cliff.
Help me, please! I'm gonna fall!
I ran over and offered the llama a hand. No way am I going to let an innocent creature get hurt. It was almost too late, and she started to fall, but I warped again and caught the llama in midair, then I warped back onto solid ground. Whoa, I had never warped that many times in a row before. Then I noticed that my powers of warping and distorting myself were causing me to grow. I was bigger now, and I also had 10 hearts. I'm getting scarier every day. I can't wait to see what I look like at even higher levels.
Thank you for saving me, new friend. My name is Becca.
What were you doing out here, Becca?
I heard that the villagers in this area were being oppressed by an evil brute named Crushmore, so I'm searching for a powerful golem that might be able to defeat him.
Why would a llama be so concerned about human villagers?
Hey, just because we're different doesn't mean I have to stay out of it. I want to help everyone.
Hard to argue with that logic. Now that I had thought about it, I realized my reason for why I've been helping out is kind of the same as her. I guess Becca isn't too different from me. Well, other than me being a creepypasta and her being a talking llama, but otherwise, we're basically the same.
Legend has it that the golem is hidden somewhere near these mountains, waiting for a hero with pure intentions to awaken it.
I don't know if I'm that hero yet, but this golem does sound really promising. On days 20 to 22, I returned to the village to find that 3 illagers had been trying to break into the shopkeeper's house. It's a good thing I built that door. They all had crossbows, but fortunately my warp ability could take me right into close range. After that, I made short work of them with my ice-frosted sword. I think I'll build a giant statue right in the middle of the village, but for that, I need to get some sheep. That way, the villagers will have something cool to look at once they're all rescued. I also added a base extension to the shopkeeper's house. I needed to give the villagers a reason to stay in the village long enough so that I can really give them all a good scare later on. I started gathering materials, breaking through a wall in the basement mine to find a huge cavern full of dazzling emeralds. Wow, these will look great on the statue, and I bet there's a lot of other great materials in here too. Next, I got some more iron to make some shears for the wool. What kind of statue do you think I'm building? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my awesome adventures. Or just search for Zozo. Spell it with me, Z-O-Z-O. On days 23 to 26, I defended the base from more of the illagers sent by Crushmore. Boy, you guys are persistent. My warping power was so much stronger now that I could warp any weak mob I touched high up into the air and watch them fall to their defeat. I dropped them all, and one of them dropped a bow and some fire arrows, along with 2 diamonds. As if I wasn't enough of a menace to trolls already. I tried using the bow, but it didn't work. But that's what I can use the diamonds for. I need to get flame on my bow first, so I'll need to enchant it. I went to the ocean and mined some lapis lazuli stones for the enchantment process. All that was left was to gather the materials for fire enchanting. I also met a new friend while I was out near the ocean. How you doing? I'm Tuttle, the turtle. I told the turtle I needed to make an enchantment table, and the turtle gave me 4 obsidian for it. You're such a cool dude. Why don't you come with me and live at my base? I returned to the base and enchanted the bow with a flaming enchanted book. Then I named the bow Firestarter. Now I can use those arrows with the fire enchantment. Hopefully I don't run out, otherwise I'll need to craft more and get some fire charges. I created a pond back at the base so that Tuttle could live there. Turtles love the water after all.
We also love powerful defenses, Zozo. Make sure your base has got walls on every side and locks on the gates.
Thanks, Tuttle, but I'm the one who is supposed to do the narration. On days 27 to 31, I decided that I wanted to explore near the ice cave again. I was out gathering materials in the mountains when I ran into Becca. Hi, Becca.
Hi, Zozo. I think I found the entrance to a dungeon where the legendary golem can be found. It'll be treacherous, but we should definitely go there.
I followed Becca across a slippery mountain path until we came to a giant stone bridge over a valley. On the other side of the bridge was a huge silver door. Now I've heard of knowing how to make an entrance, but this is ridiculous. What was even more ridiculous was that it was guarded by a rock. Becca was too afraid to get close to that thing, so I bravely approached the rock instead. Hey, wait a minute. How come I'm the one who has to make my friends less afraid all of a sudden? This totally wasn't what I signed up for. Oh well, maybe I can settle for scaring this bird away. Though, I still don't want to be that rude about it. Maybe I'll just ask nicely? Can we go through that door, please?
Absolutely not. I've been ordered to guard this door by Crushmore himself.
The rock swooped down on me, but I was able to warp out of the way and turn invisible.
Where are you hiding?
Right here. After some fast moves and quick thinking, I managed to win the fight.
No fair. I'll remember this.
Becca and I then did everything we could to open the silver door, but nothing seemed to do the trick. We tried using a lever, torches, setting it on fire, and shooting flaming arrows. Nothing worked. We'd have to figure something else out later. On days 32 to 35, Becca and I found a small cabin nearby where we could stay, and it turned out that a few villagers who had escaped from Crushmore were living here now.
That bird must have been here to make sure nobody could go into the dungeon.
And we still don't have a way to open the door. Just then, the walls of the cabin came crashing down. Or should I say, crushing down? No? Crushmore was here, and he seemed mad.
Get back to the mines and find me more redstone.
The villagers were scared, so I decided that I'd lure Crushmore away. Hey you, follow me! I ran as far and as fast as I could across the mountain, keeping ahead of Crushmore as best as I could. Then I saw it, a blizzard. That's the perfect place to lose him. I turned invisible and vanished into the snow, making my way back to the escaped villagers. Chill out, everyone, no pun intended. Come back to my base, and you can have your old homes back. On days 36 to 39, I made sure that all the villagers that had returned with me got bigger houses with crafting tables and anvils. Now there would be enough weapons and armor for all of them. Now if the villagers came back for them, they wouldn't go without a fight. I showed the villagers their houses, and they moved in. They seemed really grateful. I asked Tuttle if he knew anything about how we could open the silver door in the mountains.
Oh, so just because I'm a turtle, that means I know everything? Well, I do know this. That silver door is only going to open for a silver key, and the only place you can find one is in the Sea King's palace.
That's actually really helpful. Thanks, Tuttle.
Don't mention it, Zozo.
I decided to do some more work on the statue before I left the base again. What do you think of it so far? On days 40 to 43, one of the villagers noticed that I was using a bow with fire enchantments and told me of a chest deep in the woods where an enchanted book of fire aspect had been placed. The chest was guarded by a fearsome fire salamander that would burn anyone who approached, but I had to take the risk. My fire arrows were some of the best weapons I had, and I wanted to improve them even more. As I wandered through the woods, I found the salamander. I was worried if I used my frosted sword it would melt, so I switched back to my trusty old iron sword. I circled around it, using my warp abilities to jump away from its blasts of fire. It was a rough fight. I had to drink a health potion and warp away to safety many times. I also shot some arrows, but they didn't seem very effective. I warped and slashed until finally the salamander was defeated. I decided I'd upgrade my iron sword to a steel one and give it the new and improved fire enchantment. Behold, my flaming steel sword! On days 44 to 49, I crafted a wooden boat and set off for an ocean voyage. Tuttle had mentioned that the Sea King's palace would have the silver key I would need to open the silver door, so I kept a close eye on the horizon in search of the palace. A giant squid attacked me out of nowhere, but fortunately, I was able to snipe it from a distance with my fire arrows. Fried calamari, anyone? Then I heard a voice among the waves.
I can't swim! Save me!
I went towards the voice and found a man with a crown who was thrashing in the water. I pulled him onto the boat so that he wouldn't be in trouble anymore.
Thank you. I will reward you greatly for saving my life. I am Sea King after all.
How come you're the Sea King, but you can't swim?
That's not important. What is important is that a giant bird has taken over my palace and threw me into the ocean.
A giant bird? Could it be? On days 50 to 53, I sailed onward until I found the Sea King's palace. Or I guess right now it's the giant bird's palace. I left the boat at the dock and made my way inside the beautiful lapis lazuli palace. The Sea King chose to remain at the shore for his own safety. I went into the throne room and saw the bird perched on the throne. You're the bird who is guarding the door.
And you're that invisible snake who thought he defeated me. This time, I will show you no mercy.
I'm not just any sneak, I'm Distorted Alex. Bring it on, bird brain. I drew my fire sword and warped into battle. The rock was still as tough as ever, but it wasn't prepared to face my new enchantments. After I defeated the bird, I took a look around the palace and soon found the silver key. It was being guarded by 2 warriors in lapis lazuli armor. Hi, I'm Zozo. I just defeated the evil bird. Can I have your silver key? The warrior shrugged. I guess it's okay then. I left the palace only to find that the Sea King was gone, along with my boat. On days 54 to 57, I made my way home on foot. On the way, I took out some chickens and grabbed the feathers to craft some arrows. And luckily, I found a bunch of iron as well. I mined it right up. I returned to my base at the village and used some of the feathers and fire charges to make some flaming arrows. I also crafted an enchanted suit of steel armor. Now I had defenses for days.
Looking cool, Zozo.
Thanks, Tuttle.
Hey, Zozo! I'm planning on opening my shop back up, but I need a few more rare goods from the forest before I can do that.
No problem, shopkeeper. I'll go get some rare materials for you in the surrounding area.
You're the best! I'll be especially happy if you can find me the ingredients for shrimp fried rice.
I first went into the forest to see if I could find some materials there, and I stumbled upon a pixie hovel. There were a ton of pixies, and they were a feisty little bunch. They flew at me and gave me some debuffs like bad luck and slowness. But what really annoyed me was that they were laughing at me. Rude. Then they started stealing my items. That's it. Enough is enough. I grabbed 2 empty jars that were lying on the ground and caught a couple of pixies in them. Ha! Who's laughing now? I then grabbed all the pixie dust laying around and decided I might as well take their homes. I continued on and spotted a loose Nagafang just laying on the ground. Oh, this could come in handy too. On the way to the ocean, I also grabbed some wild rice growing by the water. It was a good thing that all my time exploring the ocean let me know where to find some shrimp, so I gathered those too. I returned to the shopkeeper and gave him some of the wild rice and shrimp. He looked happier than I've ever seen him before. He took all of the ingredients and started to cook up the shrimp fried rice right in front of me. It looked like it turned out great. It must have tasted really good too, since the shopkeeper was so happy that he went inside his shop and came out with a diamond pickaxe. Is this for me? Thanks! On days 58 to 62, I was making solid progress on the base's statue when I heard the villagers start to panic. The walls of the base were being destroyed by a group of giant octopuses. It seems strange since aquatic mobs like that usually don't show up this far inland. They must have some kind of magic protecting them. Who could be behind this? I fought off the giant squids only to see the Sea King standing outside the base, holding an enchanted silver spear. Sea King, are you here to help?
No, Zozo. You stole my silver key, so I'm going to destroy you and your base.
You don't understand. I need the silver key to open the dungeon door. I'll give it back after, I promise.
Save your promises. This is war. You may have defeated those squids, but I'll be back with more and we'll end you.
He ran away, and I didn't want to run after him. Even if I'm doing the right thing, I'm still an outcast, and now I was at war with one of the people I wanted to help. This was messed up. Unfortunately, while I was talking with the king, some other octopuses that I must have missed set fire to the village, damaging it. Ah, come on, guys. On days 63 to 66, I sailed back to the Sea King's palace in the hopes that I could speak with him and get him to agree to a truce. I didn't want any more sea creatures showing up and damaging things. I walked into the throne room, passing a bunch of scary guards. I didn't have any of my weapons equipped to show that I didn't mean him any harm. The Sea King was sitting on his throne, waiting for me.
Have you come to beg for my forgiveness?
Yes and no. I don't want to have a war, but I'm also asking to let me use the silver key just once. If we don't get to the golem, we'll never be able to defeat Crushmore and save the rest of the villagers.
Don't you see that it's pointless? Huh? I tried the key on that door long ago, and it never opened for me.
You did?
The legend says that a hero must find the golem. If I'm not worthy, nobody is.
What if I'm worthy?
Enough talk. Let's settle this one-on-one.
The Sea King attacked me with a spear. I had no choice but to fight back and battle the Sea King. As we fought, the guards started jumping in excitement. They must love watching a good fight. It happened so fast, but in the end, he was defeated. I guess there wouldn't be a war, but this wasn't how I wanted it to end. On days 67 to 70, I journeyed back to the Silver Door with the silver key in my inventory. I figured it was now or never if I was going to prove my worthiness and enter the dungeon. As I walked across the bridge, I heard a terrifying roar from underneath the bridge. It was a Remobra. The wyvern flew down in front of me and blocked my path.
I am Poison Wing. You will never survive my poison.
He wanted to prove that to me straight away and spat a glob of poison at me. It was too fast for me to warp out of the way. My speed was slowed and my health started to drop. I fired arrows at Poison Wing, but he kept flying around the bridge and avoiding them. At this rate, it seemed like he was just biding his time so the poison would get me. If I tried warping into melee range, I'd just end up falling and having to warp back to the bridge. Time was running out. The poison almost had me.
Zozo, quick, drink this.
It was Becca, and she had brought antidotes to help me overcome the poison.
Meddling llama.
Poison Wing bellowed, and because he was enraged, he swooped in to attack us. I stepped in front of Becca and slashed at him with my fire sword. Poison Wing was trying to get to my friend, but I would never let him through. After taking several hits, Poison Wing flew off. He was wounded, but not fatally.
Poisonwing will be back and will bring others with him. Quickly, Zozo, we have to get inside that door.
We ran over to the door and placed the key in the lock. To my surprise, it worked, and we were able to enter the dungeon. On days 71 to 74, we traveled through the depths of the dungeon. We encountered a horde of trolls, but thanks to my enchantments, they weren't much of a threat. Take that, and this! Then we came to the place where the golem was supposed to have rested. But there was nothing there.
I don't understand. Why isn't there a golem?
I don't know, but Poisonwing will be back soon. We have to leave. On days 75 to 78, I repaired the parts of the base and the village that had been damaged in the war with the Sea King. I made sure everyone's home was 5 stories tall and had wooden bridges on the roof so the villagers could visit each other. Tuttle then came over and gave me some new, stronger materials that only the oldest turtles knew about, and I was able to create my ultimate suit of armor. Then she gave me a potion. I guess they are friends with Becca, and the turtle figured I might need another potion. Just in time, too, because Poisonwing flew into the base from up above.
Crushmore has grown tired of waiting, Zozo. Give back those villagers, or I will poison them all.
He shot his poison at me, but this time, I was ready. I immediately drank one of Becca's antidotes and was ready to take the fight to the Remobra himself. I warped above him, but that was a fake out. When Poisonwing dodged, I warped again, right into his path. I hit him with a powerful attack and finished him off. Wow, I've got 16 hearts, and it looks like I can warp really far now. Now that I've beaten Poisonwing, maybe I can go back to the mountain dungeon and see if I missed anything. On day 79 to 84, I searched behind the silver door again and couldn't find anything in the entire dungeon that could tell me where the golem went. So much for that. I was about to leave when I ran into a man who looked a lot like the Sea King, but older. He seemed sad, but at least it didn't look like he wanted to fight. I asked him who he was, and he told me he was the Sea King's father. Whoa, I'm sorry about what happened to your son. I took off my helmet so we could talk face to face. He told me he had made this mountain dungeon when his son was little in order to test whether or not he could be a hero worthy of the legendary golem. Well, the Sea King had never been able to open the door. I had, which meant I was the worthy hero that the Sea King's father was hoping for. He revealed that there was no legendary golem, but he did give me the formula I could use to build it. I thanked him, and we waved goodbye to each other. On days 85 to 89, I told Becca about what had happened to me at the Silver Dungeon and how I met the Sea King's father.
Of course! Opening that door meant that you were worthy. That makes so much sense. Still, do you think you have what it takes to build the legendary golem?
I have to try, don't I?
I suppose that's true. I'll give you all the information I know about what the legendary golem is supposed to be like. That way, you can't get it wrong.
Thanks, Becca. On days 90 to 94, I scoured the land for all the materials that I would need to craft the legendary golem. Cobblestone walls, stairs, and blocks were easy. I already had those. But Quicksilver? I went deep in the mountains to find those and finally found a cave with some. Next, I needed to find some lapis lazuli ore, but for that, I'd need Silk Touch. I started asking around if any villagers knew where to get Silk Touch, and luckily found one who did. He threw a Silk Touch book at me, and I used it to enchant my pickaxe so I could mine entire ores of lapis. I then went back to the Sea Palace and snatched it from there. So far, there hadn't been anything too tough, but the block of ice dragon steel was going to be an issue. I went to Tuttle to ask him if he had any more left over, but he said no. Bummer. I asked him if there was any way he could find some more, and he said yes. Not a bummer, but it might take some time. Medium bummer. I was willing to wait though, since this could be the strongest golem ever made. Of course, I didn't want to neglect my own upgrades. With the help of the villagers, I was able to acquire some more enchanted books and give my frosted sword the powerful Freezing 3 enchantment. They told me that in order to use it, I would need to throw it and the frosted sword on top of the anvil, and the magic inside of the enchanted book would transform the sword into a better one. Well, here goes nothing. It worked. The sword leveled up to an iced dragonbone sword with sharpness 10. It even had the ability to completely freeze enemies. And best of all, it looked awesome! Now I had fire and ice on my side. On days 95 to 97, I took some time off from building the golem in order to finish the statue for the base. It was a statue of regular Alex because I wanted to show the villagers that even though I was distorted and an outcast, I was just the same as any other hero. I could feel that the villagers had already accepted me, but I hoped it was still a gesture that meant something to them. But what do you think of the statue? Do you like it? To end the day, I started building the golem. I was so close to being finished. All I was missing now was the block of ice dragon steel. On day 98, the shopkeeper's dog approached me and looked like he wanted to talk.
Hey Zozo, you always say you were an outcast. How come you helped me when we first met?
I guess I just needed a place to belong, and you seemed like you did too.
Well, you've made a really nice place here. I can't wait for the other villagers to come back.
Same. The golem is almost complete, and Crushmore will never know what hit him.
I think it'll hit him, just like all of our friends should hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell.
That's true. It sure does feel great that I can share more of my videos with all of my friends out there. Thanks for your support. On day 99, the turtle woke me up and gave me the block of Ice Dragon Steel. Now I can finish the statue. The legendary golem that I built was finally complete. Even Becca was impressed. It was just like the legend. With the golem by my side, I marched over to Crushmore's redstone mines. We encountered several villagers, but the golem was able to keep them busy while I warped into the mines and freed the rest of the villagers. The most powerful of the villagers, an evoker, tried to stop me. He kept spawning Vex around me and using his Fang spell attack, but luckily, my superior armor protected me and I struck him down with my fire and ice weapons. The villagers were able to escape the redstone mine and run back to the base. That just left one more thing to take care of. Or should I say, Crushmore thing. On day 100, the golem and I started to destroy the redstone mines, and I focused on breaking up the rail tracks and supporting pillars. With all the villagers now home safe, I noticed that some of the redstone piles looked weird. They were shimmering green. I shot a fire arrow at them, and it ignited the redstone and blew the whole place up. That's firepower, baby! But the explosion was so huge that I was almost caught inside. I tried to warp away, and the most amazing thing happened. My warp ability absorbed the explosion and converted it into pure power. As I left the destroyed mine, I saw Crushmore battling the legendary golem.
You thought this hunk of junk could defeat Crushmore? I am more powerful than you could ever imagine!
Using the power of the explosions that my distorted warp had consumed, I grew in size until I was the same as him with 100 hearts. That's when the giant got even bigger and meaner. I didn't even know that was possible. He smashed the golem with a single blow and started coming after me.
Even legends are no match for Crushmore. Now, you will pay for ruining my plans for this world.
I don't think so, Crushmore. Anything you can destroy, I can build back. I am more than a legend. I'm a hero. We battled, but I was faster, and with my ability to shoot fire out of my flaming warp, Crushmore was toast. Literally. But the fight wasn't over yet. We kept battling. I used my warp, which was crazy long now, but Crushmore also had some serious strength and a huge jump height. Even if I tried to warp away to regenerate some health, he was right there with me. With the combination of Ice Sword, Fire Sword, Flaming Arrows, and the Flaming Warp did the trick. After that amazing battle, I fixed up the golem and he came back to life again. We returned to the village where Tuttle, Becca, the shopkeeper, his dog, and all the villagers were waiting for me. Even the Sea King's dad was there. He was happy to see that I was the hero the world needed. This calls for a fireworks display. I may still be able to turn invisible, but now there was no reason for me to hide anymore.